One more time, one more time. Yeah. I give my life to you. I will rejoice. I will rejoice and be glad, and be glad. Oh, this is my prayer. I will rejoice and be glad. Oh, my gift I will rejoice. Yes, I will. I will rejoice and be glad, and be glad. Oh, this is what I will rejoice and be glad. Oh, this is what is my I will rejoice. I will. Yes, I will. I will rejoice and be glad. And be glad. Oh, this is what I will rejoice and be glad. Oh, this is I will rejoice. Yes, I will. I will rejoice and be glad, and be glad. Oh, this is what I will rejoice and be glad. Oh, this is what I love Yahuwah, He's my Elohim. For He has done so many for me. He has taken all my sins and He's born His Spirit. Oh, I love Yahuwah, my Elohim. I love Yahuwah, for He's my Elohim. Oh, yes, yes. For He has done so many for me. He has taken all my sins and He brought His Spirit. I love Yahuwah, my Elohim. I love Yahuwah, for He's my Elohim. Oh, yes, yes. For He has done so very much for me. He has taken all my sins and He brought His Spirit. I love Yahuwah, my Elohim. I love Yahuwah, my Elohim. One more time, sing I love Yahuwah, my Elohim. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. Oh, I don't think I get me behind. Oh, victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I go and leave behind. Victory today. I said when I woke this morning, I didn't have no doubt. I knew that Yahoo would bring me out. So I got down on my knees. Yahoo would help me. Got up, shouted victory. That victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. Oh, I go say, let me behind. Oh, victory today is mine. Love is mine. Love is mine. Love today is mine. I go say mine. Yeah, it is mine. Love today is mine. The girl said, when I woke this morning, I didn't have no doubt, 'cause I knew that Yahoo would bring me out. So I got down on my knees. Yahoo would help me see. I got up, shouted victory. The victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I hold it mine. Yes, it's mine. But victory today is mine. Joy is mine, joy is mine, joy today is mine. I go say mine, yes, it's mine. But joy today is mine, love is mine, peace is mine. Oh, yes, it is. Today is mine. I go say mine. Yes, it's mine. Oh, today is mine. Oh, today is mine.
All right, hallelujah, hallelujah. Get the victory today. No matter what's going on, we're going to still get that victory. All right, all right. Okay, all right, today's proverb, one of my favorites. Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3. My son, forget not my law, but let thy heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck and write them upon the table of thy heart. So shalt thou find favor and good and understanding in the sight of Elohim and man. Trust in Yahuwah with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear Yahuwah and depart from evil. It should be a help to thy neighbor and a marvel to thy brother. Honor Yahuwah with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase. So thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy treasures shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of Yahuwah, neither be weary of his correction. For whom Yahuwah love, he corrects, even as the Father, the Son, in whom he delighteth. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things that thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are the ways of pleasantness, and all of her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. Yahuwah by wisdom has founded the earth, but by understanding has he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down to dew. My son, let not them depart from thy eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in the way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither the desolation of the wicked when it comes. For Yahuwah shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Withhold not good from them whom it is due, when it's in thy power and thy hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when it had to body. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without cause, if he has done thee no harm. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his way. For the forward is an abomination to Yahuwah, but his secret is with the righteous. The curse of Yahuwah is in the house of the wicked, but he blesses the habitation of the just. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I really like that part. I tell you for that. That's one of my favorite ones. But anywho, let's move on to our classroom creed.
Expound.
Expound on it.
Yes.
Well, it touches a lot of things that people want to talk about for keeping the commandments of one, But it starts off with that. First thing he said, don't forget my law. That's first thing. And people want to be like, well, that's Old Testament stuff. Well, Christ done, what I'm saying, much got done away with all that. Right. But he said, the first thing he said, is forget not my law, but keep them commandments. Because that's how you're going to get your peace. And then say, you'll live the days, long life, peace. That's what it's all going to add to you. The same laws and commandments they telling you being done away with, being nailed to the cross and all that. No, this is why a lot of us, we can't enjoy no everyday to day life. We can't do nothing because we got no peace. We worried about this, we worried about that, or how there's no peace. But when you're doing the will of the Most High, your peace is coming to you, regardless. Whatever, even if my time, I'm doing bad right now, but y'all ain't gonna see it. I'm not. And then another thing too, a lot of people want to keep praying over and over and over. Look, when you got that faith and your foundation right, you only need to ask the Most High maybe once or twice. He already knows you want. So if I'm asking you every day and I'm praying every day for the same thing, number one, that's kind of a red flag that your life ain't right because you need to know what your Most High can do. I need to ask my Elohim one time. You know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? So I should be begging every day for the same thing. If I'm doing that, that means I don't think he could give it to me. Right. Because I'm asking them constantly, I'm reminding him, hey, can you give me this? Can you give me this? Can you give me that? And it's like, I look at him like my father. So but just like my father, if I'm constantly asking my dad the same thing, he already knew what I wanted when I asked him. He might be waiting on me to make some good grades. Yeah. It might be that time my report card ain't right. I ain't doing the same right with him not to give me what I want. But like I said, it's a lot of stuff up here. That's one thing I think I could be here a while.
We got the sundown.
One thing you said about, constantly asking, you don't have that peace. Why you don't have that peace and that joy? Because you're not keeping his commandments. You're not being in obedience to him.
Right.
You're not in his perfect will. You're outside of his will because you're not continue to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments, which are not grievous to us, but like you said, it prolongs our lives. So as long as we keep those commandments and know that our Father, he made it all. He spoke all into existence. He's the king over all, everything that existed, the time to come, the time that was, now it is. So it's like, why shouldn't we have that access to him and not have that peace that we're seeking? Because when we live in obedience, like you said, a report card's coming up. The report is coming up.
Right.
What have you been doing all this time? Have you been wasting your time on all this stuff that's vanity to you, or have you been seeking him and meditating on his word and building yourself up so that way you can withstand the things of the enemy, the things that's going to come to you tomorrow or the next week, whatnot. And, like you said, Shabbat, it resets us, it keeps us everything we need when the rest comes.
It's there. I mean, I'm early. It's just I want to kind of get to the little classroom creed, but but I like this part. It's just powerful to me. It just kind of keeps myself in check. You know what I mean? It just kind of keeps myself in check. Because it'd be like, don't be sitting up there giving like you all this and you all that. Like, in other proverbs they say, don't be praising yourself, but let another man praise you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can't be all that. You want to give yourself like you all right to the high minded, whatever. But there's some things you still going through. That's what kind of it might just be that outlook that you have on yourself, that I'm holier than thou attitude might be that reason why you're not being blessed. We could be blessed. Like you be your own stumbling block towards yourself. Yeah, anything else, probably moving on. You want to go to our classroom creed? Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 29. And we start this off at verse 24. Even all nations shall say, wherefore has Yahuwah done this unto this land? And what meaneth the heat of this great anger? That men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them forth out of the land of Mizraim. For they went and served other gods and worshipped them, idols whom he knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. And the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against this land, to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. And Yahuwah rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and then cast them into another land, as it is this day. The secret things belong to Yahuwah our Elohim, but those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Chapter 30. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Yahuwah thy Elohim has driven thee, and shall return unto Yahuwah thy Elohim, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thy heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahuwah thy Elohim return thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations where the Yahuwah thy Elohim has scattered thee. Hallelujah.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Hope everyone has had a very awesome week. Man. And pardon me, forgive me, man, but this Shabbat morning, and just it's kind of a more than a notion for me, but we're gonna try to get through it.
We're going to go do it. There is no try, only do.
Man, look,
We gonna get it.
how you say in the assembly, pray my strength in Yah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Woo! On that note, y'all, let's beseech the Most High this day of rest. Abba Yah, Elohim of Abraham, Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob. We thank thee once again, Father, for allowing our minds to be stayed on you on this Baruch Shabbat, Father. Thank you for all the things that you have given us, Father, your love, your guidance, your protection. We thank you for keeping us, Father. We thank you for all that you have grouped us with in the course of this week, Father. And we pray that you may first forgive us of all of our transgressions. Look over all of the things that we've struggled through and had to deal with, Father. But strengthen us, Father, through your mercy, through your grace, and through your word, Father. Father, we pray that you may continue to watch over us, Father, and that you may continue to just lead us and guide us the way you have us to go. Pour out your spirit upon us today, Father, that we may be edified, that we may strengthen. Some of us dealing with things on a physical dynamic, Father. Some of us are dealing with emotional things that we're dealing with, spiritual things that we're dealing with, Father. We know that you can deliver us from all of these adversities that we deal with. And that's what we ask of you, Father, that you may strengthen us, that we may be awesome stewards and servants unto you, Father. This we pray not only for those within the sound of my voice, but for all who's calling upon your name in spirit and truth, Father. Again, lead us and guide us the way you have us to go. These and other blessings we ask of thee. In the name of Yahshua, HaMashiach, hallelujah. Right. All right. So we are in the very midst of the Black History series. The Bible is Black history. Some people's series have ended because the so-called month has ended. But like I said, our series would take us all the way to the new year. So in this part 3, we're dealing with the Chronicles of the Confederate Council. All of those words that would begin with C begins with the letter K. So that means you would have 3 Ks. KKK, Council of the Confederate Council. Chronicles of the Confederate Council. Too many Ks up in there. But very important part of this Black History series, because again, we dealt with part 1, showing without a doubt that the Israelites are a Black people. Some people like to say an African people, and I ain't got no problem with Africa, because that's the name that we know the continent by. Scripturally, what is it called scripturally that we call Africa?
The land of Ham.
The land, thank you. The land of Ham is right. Land of Ham, scripturally, is what it's known by. But so our land, Israel, is biblically known as the land of Ham, because another Black nation lived there previous to us, which were the Canaanites. All right. Here we went into part 2, which took us 2 Sabbaths to get through, which is if my people showing you biblically the traits of this black people who are the Israelites in the scriptures, showing you that we are a hard-headed people, stiff-necked people, that we subject ourselves to every other spirit but the spirit of the Most High, the ones that the Father throughout the entire earth have entered into a covenant. Let me see, what did I share earlier this week? I shared a post this week. Some reading I feel like I need to figure it out now as we talk about this. If I can find it. Okay. If I can't find it. But anyway, real simply. No, wait a minute. Bear with me, y'all. Okay, so yes, let's do what I shared. I say, where was Elohim, or God, if you will, when he saw millions of black people stuffed in the bottom of slave ships? Where was he? Where was Elohim when he saw the torture, abuse, murder, rapes, and disenfranchisement of the people? Where was Elohim when the nation systematically relegated us to the worst areas in the cities and towns? Where was Elohim when these people were subjected to poor educational systems and low-paying jobs? Where was Elohim when his people were able to build communities of high quality only to see them destroyed by their enemies? And y'all know it was a lot of cities, right? We know of Rosewood, we know of Tulsa, but there were about 20 plus cities that we occupied, formulated into Black Wall Streets, right? Every single one of them but destroyed.
Sweet God. Oh, from my understanding of the historical background of so-called African American people, before integration happened, like we had more within ourselves. We're more community and more family oriented within ourselves, and we had our own towns. We were more established financially or whatnot. We established our own, businesses or whatnot. We're more entrepreneurship rather than depending on the government or America, quote unquote, to supply our needs and stuff that we need. So as a people, we are already, a community of people that was thriving, and they didn't, like you said, they didn't like the way that we were thriving because we did not need them, or quote unquote, we're a culture of people. We establish our own cultures, and from history, we can see that they copy everything that we've done and polluted it. So,
Okay. But the missing link in all that you have on bought, which is pretty good, was that the people, we built those towns and communities out of necessity because we were not allowed to go sit at the counter at Woolworths. We were not allowed to go into the same establishments that the citizens were allowed to go into. So it was by necessity and by force that we had to support the businesses that we were able to bring out, the restaurants that we had, the hotels that we had. But as soon as, I'm gonna deal with this for a minute, because I might not ever again get a chance to deal with this. So take my time with this. Branch Rickey, y'all know who Branch Rickey is? That name sound familiar. Branch Rickey was the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers. So everything I'm about to talk about, you can see it dramatized in the movie 24. What's my man's name? Black Panther, what's his name? Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, when he played Jackie Robinson. Why am I bringing him up? I'm bringing him up because in the society that we were here as second and third class citizens, and we were forced to create these enclaves of Black communities based off of the fact that we were not allowed to we were not, and here's the thing, I tell people this all the time, because there's a lot of things as a people that we don't understand. As educated as we are, we still miss out on the very smallest thing. So let me back up a little bit. Can you imagine opening up a business somewhere? So it's a brand new business that you have. And in any brand new business, it have to it can only strive by business. But as you are in your little store and you got your little inventory and everything, someone walks into your store and they don't look like you. But they walk into the store with money in their hands. And you tell that person that you don't even know, you never seen them before. You say, oh no, you get out my store. I don't want you here in my store. Take you and your money. Your money is not accepted here. Go. You know anybody that can relate to that? Huh?
Us as a nation of people.
Say it again.
Us as a nation of people being rejected.
No, I ain't talking about you being rejected. I'm talking about you being the owner of the store. You
Can you repeat your question?
Say it again.
Repeat the question.
No, I'm saying as the owner of the store, can you relate to that? Turning money and people away because that person walks into your store, but they don't look like you. They are of another race. I maintain that no Black people can relate to that.
We don't do that.
So I'm just showing you the level of ignorance that we had, that when you flip it around, Europeans, let me say that the citizens of this country operated just like that. Had their own business, little business over there, and somebody that looked like us will walk in there with money in our hand and try to buy something. And no, turn around, you got to get out of here. Do you understand the point that I'm making? None of us can relate to that side of it. So therefore, you have to understand that level of hate to be able to deal with it properly. So in light of the death of Jesse Jackson, and we're going to get to the lesson, man. This lesson is short, but I just want to talk about this because, and based off of what I just read, the question remains, where was God doing all of the things that this people went through for centuries?
Can I add to that? You know, there's also an economic thing to that too. For them to turn away a dollar bill or income because they have hatred for another race of people,
Right.
meaning they was doing good without your money. They was able to survive. I don't think you would see that today because they're struggling. They're struggling today. They ain't gonna turn you away no more.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But see, here's the thing, no, but see, this is kind of where I'm going with it. I'm going to there too. That's why I brought up Branch Rickey, because he did something very revolutionary. But the point is that if we truly understood the level of hate, and you know, I'm perplexed by the fact that we really didn't kind of comprehend it. Then desegregation, what was the word you used? You didn't say, huh? Integration. Thank you. You said it's the same. Desegregation, integration would not have never worked. It would have never worked because you had groups back in the day like the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X and Marcus Garvey and groups like that. They was trying to maintain the independence of the businesses and even the towns and communities that we were able to build. But integration was not forced on us. It was something that we accepted because we and all that we were able to achieve did not think that it was good enough. Because it ain't good if you didn't get it from them. So what? Mr. Jenkins had a general store. I ain't nobody if I can't go up into Woolworths. So what that Mrs. Harris got a restaurant there that fits some of the best stuff, what we call soul foods in there. It don't mean nothing if I can't go into Woolworths and eat the hamburger off the counter. Somehow, as a people, we share that ignorance. So, therefore, this is where Branch Rickey comes in. We were not allowed to play in the quote unquote major leagues. So we had to formulate our own baseball leagues that we, in my opinion, foolishly call the Negro Leagues. Why do I say foolishly?
It was a term that really didn't represent.
No, yeah, he said it's a term that now not really representing us, but also the fact that you would name it Negro Leagues, you done already put yourself in a second class status.
Put yourself in a box.
You done put yourself in a box. See what I'm saying? It's sad that we weren't able to think from a very broad perspective. We thought in a slave dynamic. Okay, so now you got the Negro Leagues, and the best of the Black people are playing this game. But during this time, they entertained exhibition games, the Black teams versus these major teams every once in a while for whatever reason, because some white people wanted to really see Josh Gibson. Man, we heard Josh Gibson was a bad dude. We heard that Satchel Paige was a bad pitcher. He was technically probably the best pitcher that's ever played baseball to this day. That Satchel Paige, if you ever never heard of him, look him up. That dude pitched all the way up into his 60s, and he was bad. He finally got into the major leagues. I think he got signed on to the Cleveland team. I don't know if they were Indians then or whatever, and he was bad then in his late 50s.
Roberto Clemente.
Huh?
Roberto Clemente.
Well, see, I was a kid when he played, so I don't know if he was in the Negro League. Yeah, he played on the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I remember him, Roberto Clemente, and Dave Winfield. I'm not sure if they played in the Negro Leagues or not, but the ones that I remember as a kid, Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, they call him. He was in the Negro League, and who else? There was quite a few of them that was there. What's a dude from Willie Mays? Anybody ever heard of Willie Mays? Yeah, he played for the San Francisco Giants. He was in the Negro Leagues. So anyway, the point is that
I think he was the uncle of Barry Bonds too.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely correct. Who also played for the Giants, San Francisco Giants, correct. So the point is that Branch Rickey was the owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers. In his mind, he like, I'm watching what's going on with these exhibition games, and those Negroes are pound for pound really better than white players. So I don't know how long we're gonna be able to keep this up. So I'm gonna go find somebody that's gonna be able to come in and integrate this major league thing.
I never watched the movie, but I've seen clips. Was Harrison Ford Branch Rickey?
Right, that's right. Harrison Ford.
He was Branch Rickey?
Harrison Ford was
Okay.
Branch Rickey. That's
I
correct.
never watched it, but I saw a clip.
I don't. Repeat your statement that you just said.
About him saying that he's gonna find someone to come in and play and bring black people into the major leagues.
I don't think it was. Personally, I don't think it was that mindset that he had. I feel that it was a money mindset, a financial mindset.
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about the Major League and Negro League. Negro League was better. We had better games.
Right.
Everything was better than the Major League.
Right.
We blew them out.
Right.
Every game they blew them out.
Right.
So how they looked at it is like, dang, we not even. This is the thing about that. Them and the Gentiles and us. Here's the thing about the Gentiles and us. The Gentiles, they, like I said earlier, they copy everything we do, bro. Everything you see we do, that culturally, everything you see that they do, we did first, or we've been doing it. They can predate how long they've been here. We cannot predate how long we've been on this earth. Being that said, it's like the comparison to the two, to us in the Gentiles, it's like the integration. Like I don't feel that us as a people wanted to really necessarily integrate with them because of the businesses and us being established. I feel like it was more of a jealousy thing that they had towards us because
repeat that line again because it doesn't make sense.
I don't feel, or I don't from looking at history, I don't feel that the integration thing was a more of a us wanting to be with them.
Us wanting to be with them?
I feel like it was more of them saying, dang, we losing. We're losing by financially.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but hold that thought. I hear what you're saying. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Let me finish the thing with Branch Rickey. Let me just finish this and then you can pick it up. All of the owners of the major league teams hated Branch Rickey because of what he was trying to do. They definitely didn't want integration. They didn't want it, but Branch Rickey thought more progressive than the other white owners, because you're absolutely correct in terms of his motivation. The point that I'm making, to kind of make the long story short, is that Branch Rickey knew that if we got smart and had named our league the World League or International League or whatever instead of a Negro League, and start taking white players into our league, that would have eliminated the major leagues. But because we didn't think we were good enough in our mind, even though, like you say, we could see on pen and paper that it was things, but the thing is that the whole baseball dynamic was systematic of the entire country in terms of how we as a people really did not think that what we had was really good enough. Because if we did, integration wouldn't have never worked. Because once Branch Rickey did what he did, and the other owners started realizing, whoa, we've been being like that small town white owner. You see what I'm saying? That was turning away money because of our prejudice. Branch Rickey was ahead of his time. And what happened was that because Jackie Robinson came into the major leagues, that killed the Negro Leagues. Success. As a matter of fact, in the movie Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars, anybody ever seen that movie before? Great movie. Never even heard of that movie? Richard Pryor was in the movie. James Earl Jones was in the movie. Billy D. Williams, he was the star of the movie. They were a traveling Negro team. They called it barnstorming. And they were trying to get into the Negro Leagues, but they were like ragtag team. They weren't even good for that. But the point is that at the end of the movie, Jackie Robinson signs with the major leagues, and James Earl Jones. At the same time he signs with them, Billy D. Williams is happy because they won the game that would have gotten them into the Negro Leagues. James Earl Jones like, bros, you have no idea. Y'all happy we won, but do y'all know that now it's about to be the end of the Negro Leagues? And it was the end of the Negro Leagues. Integration. But the point is that if we had our head on straight, integration would have never happened. It would have never survived, okay? So the point is that there's a lot of things that we as a people been missing out by listening to our religious leaders, following our political leaders. Like you got some of us today right now. I'm a Republican. Republican is the way. I'm a Democrat. Democrat is the way. But how long have these systems existed? As long as we've been here, right?
Two sides of the same coin.
Huh?
Two sides of the same coin.
The point is, for all those within the sound of my voice, this series that we do concerning the Bible being Black history is a series that we don't never have to ask any of these questions that I posed in the beginning of this. Where was God at here? Where was God at there? Why would he allow this to happen, this to happen? It's all right here in the book. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, all right. So I guess finishing the point, I'm sure you might probably be making this point as well. So the integration of Jackie Robinson into the major leagues killed the Negro League.
Instantly.
And if we could apply that to life back in the days before integration, the integration of Black people in the modern society also killed Black businesses as well.
Right.
It killed the Black banks. It killed the Black dogs, the Black nations. Because now you have to integrate into their society. Right. And it's almost like whatever accomplishments you had before, you have to come and meet under their criteria
3 times
to be involved into their system. You see what I'm saying? So I guess saying that's an analogy that you made that, hey, how Jackie Robinson going in, it seemed as progressive, it seemed like advancement, but it actually was detrimental.
That's right.
To a point because it killed the Negro League, something that we had.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with society. When we integrate in society, it killed what we had to our own.
Yeah. And like I said, back in the 40s and 50s, man, to really see that in action, because each team were owned by Black owners, and they had different Black companies within that operated restaurants, bars, taverns, janitorial services, a whole bunch of Black money that was related to each and every team.
And generated amongst ourselves. Now all that money goes to the other corporations of the Gentiles.
Right. It eliminated jobs. It eliminated wealth. It eliminated a whole bunch of things. It eliminated. So the thing is that Hosea 4:6 says what?
For my people are
suffer from a lack.
Yeah, my people perish for a lack of knowledge.
Thank you. This fun how it comes along because I couldn't have told you that before.
Yeah. But that's why I knew somebody knew.
Yeah.
But and we quote that so freely.
So cliche.
Yeah, cliche. Thank you. That's the word, cliche. But when you really understand the truth, it's not cliche because we see it in front of our eyes each and every day. We have been sold into a system of our oppressors. But if we go into this book and read the truth concerning these things, we would never ask these questions. But without understanding, we ask these questions constantly, man. Because without understanding the truth, I couldn't even fathom in my mind where the Father was as those ships passed through the middle passage.
His face was turned the other direction.
Yeah, right.
His face was not for you, but again.
That's the crazy part. If there is a God, if he exists, he absolutely, without question, was looking the other way. How can that be debated? But we just went through the lesson concerning if my people,
Right,
showing that he absolutely was looking the other way. See, it's different between knowing of something and really, really knowing it. We ain't got to ask none of them questions.
Experience in that.
right. If you trusted in Horus and Isis and all these other gods, why they didn't help you during that time?
Man.
You know, you trusted in the gods of the nations. Why they ain't stop the slavery? Why they stop you from getting beaten, being transferred? Why they stop you?
Absolutely.
Why they stop it? I mean,
so here, Chronicles of the Confederate Kouncil, we're going to take a biblical look of the history concerning nations that were raised up against the covenant people. Okay? So with that being said, let's start this at 1 Kings 11 chapter. First Kings 11 chapter, and this is we're reading about the fall of Solomon and when he started to mess things up. First Kings 11 chapter start at the top.
the first word is very telling.
What's that?
The first word, what are you going to read?
Oh, the first word.
But King Solomon loved many strange women.
Right. But being the first word. So the thing is that in the previous chapter, we would have read about the glory of King Solomon, his glory, his wisdom, and arguably the time of his reign was probably the best time that Israel ever had as a nation because it was structured so perfectly. Matter of fact, it was structured so perfectly that people from other nations came and joined with us in keeping the high holy days. That's powerful right there. These people had their own gods and own feast days or whatever, but because we were doing things so right that they said, oh man, I'm going to Jerusalem to keep the Passover. I'm going to Jerusalem to keep tabernacles, which is the way the world should have operated. Because that's the reason why the Father had a covenant people, so that the whole world could know about Yah and worship Yah as one. So for a brief moment, we had what some people say the glory days. So if we say make Israel great again, this is the time that we're talking about. But King Solomon loved many strange women. Go ahead.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, the Zidonians, and Hittites.
Here's the crazy part about that most of them that you just read there, which we're going to find out in the next place, were part of this thing we call the Confederacy. Huh? But these were some of the women that Solomon loved. Satan put into this King David's chosen son. That's how Satan operates, man. Satan will know exactly where to get you when he wants you.
And the first three were Hebrew. I don't know about the Zedanites, but
those are Canaan. Yeah, those are
Canaanites. The first three were Hebrew.
Right. Moabites and Ammonites, those Lot's children. And then, like you said, Edomites, which is our twin brothers. And then Zidonians and Hittites are the Canaanites. Okay, go ahead.
Of the nations concerning which Yahuwah said unto the children of Yashael, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their God. And Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart.
Now, right there, when you talk about one man having 700 wives, princesses, and 100 concubines, that is a psychological disorder right there. That's not a normal thing.
You probably couldn't even remember all their names.
Much less if there was any church to come out of all of these women or whatever. But that's a psychological dynamic right there. That means this dude opened up his eyes, thinking about what new stuff he gonna get. Every day. That's a psychological problem right there. But the Father had already told us that you can't multiply wives unto yourselves as a king, but that was really illegal for any man to multiply wives. But like you say, definitely as a king. And just because I'm on that, he also said, don't multiply horses, which don't mean you only can have one horse. Don't multiply gold. That don't mean you only can limit it, but that's another lesson, though. I just want to show that there's a difference between multiplication and addition. Any calculator can show the difference between these two.
Right.
But,
I just gonna say it's like out of control capitalism.
Yes.
You know, like
yes.
No, just making a quick example. The same way today, they demonize other systems like communism and socialism. They be like, America runs on capitalism. Most of the Western world runs on capitalism, which means you're not limited in how much money you could achieve. But when you reach this level of out of control capitalism, well, the people who are on the top just keep multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. It's taken away from the average person.
Mm-hmm.
When you have, I try to put nobody out there, but just example, Musk or Bezos or these guys, they multiplying their billions and billions and billions, but yeah, other people, the majority of people struggling to pay rent. So it's not, the system is flawed. It's a flawed system.
Yeah.
When one person gets to multiply so much and it's causing pain on everybody else, it's almost like the average person is slaving for the person on top. And I only bring it up because you mentioned about multiplying. You shouldn't multiply horses and multiply gold.
Yeah.
So I just see that as out of control capitalism. It's out of control. You monopolizing way too much.
Right.
Big companies get so big they could eat up small companies, and now everybody forced to go to one place,
right,
or this place or that place. It's out of control. That's all I'm saying.
And that is the carnal way, the carnal dynamic, or the carnal negative response to doing that. But spiritually speaking, these wives are now your Elohim. The gold is now your Elohim. Blase, blase. Because if I'm thinking about that stuff all day long, how am I going to rule over these people righteously? At what point do the Most High fits into my consciousness when this is all I can think about from the time I get up to the time I go back to bed? Because what's most important is the Father's righteousness in the kingdom. That right there should be the main thing. And the crazy part of that just showed you how Satan operates. Because in Solomon's early days, the father loved Solomon. He told David, this is who I want to be the next king. But while all his older brothers was fighting for the kingdom, and Solomon himself being the son of who? Right. Bathsheba. The woman who is the wife of a Hittite that David messed up with, and it might have been to the point where Solomon in his years probably say, well, father ain't gonna choose me because, you know, that's my mother, and she caused David to mess up. The father absolutely did choose him. So the father chose him, and then the father loved him so much, he like, you know what, Solomon, right as he got to the throne, I'm gonna give you whatever it is that you want. Tell me what you want, and I'm gonna give it to you. What did Solomon ask the Most High for?
Knowledge, understanding.
To rule his people.
There you go. I'm glad you finished that up. Wisdom to rule his people. Father said, because you asked for wisdom and you didn't ask for the gold, the women, and all the things, you're gonna have it all. You're not gonna be lacking in nothing. But see, again, if you are a servant of Yah, you can handle not being lacking of nothing. Somehow Satan was able to get into that mindset and let him know that in all that you achieve, you still lacking, my boy. Made him feel like it was something more better than what the Father blessed him with. And that's how he got right here. And he clave unto these in love 700 wives, princes, and 300 concubines, and his wives. And the thing is that the father had already told David that if your son do this, marry these women, he told him that he would turn his heart away. And it happened just like he called it. Verse 4.
For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
Now, on another note, I'm old. I am old. And my whole dynamic, I'm just saying from personal dynamic, my whole dynamic with women is a little different than it was when I was a little younger. It's almost a non-issue for me at this point. So I don't understand how Solomon wait till he get old and all of a sudden it's like, that's just weird. That like defies nature in my mindset. Like you should be a little bit more mature to be able to deal with women, but here Bill's the exact opposite. He old now. That's all he can think about is women. That's deep.
And you know, one thing I see the similarity between Solomon and Israel, and it's like the father do things for a purpose. Like when we was entering the land, he told us to take the people out. Like don't leave none. Just get rid of all the Canaanites.
Right.
And when we didn't fulfill that, they became a stumbling block to us.
As he said.
See, when we mingle with other nations, you know, there's no hatred to the nations, but we were meant to lead, not to follow. The nations are meant to come and follow us because we were the covenant people. We the people, the royal priesthood. Righteousness will rule the earth. If we do what we're supposed to do, like you say, we're supposed to be a light to the light to the nations, right? we would be the leaders. The world will come and see us, like you said. In Solomon's heyday, people came from all over.
Yeah.
The Queen of the South, you know, to find out about his wisdom and his knowledge, and they kept the holy high days. You know what I mean? They did all of that. So we were the same as Solomon. Solomon fell off because he mingled with the nations the Most High told him not to mingle with. You know what I mean? We know how women make us feel. Women could get to the soft part of our heart, and they did that. And each of them started begging for little things. Hey man, you could build a little temple to my God right here.
That's
and
right.
you know, when he started doing that, then he
My culture.
we got into their culture, the opposite.
Right. I would say you don't love me if you don't love my culture.
Right.
Right. That was the whispers in the night.
Yeah. We did it as a people too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We kept them around.
Right.
We was inquisitive of how they run things.
Yeah.
Oh, look how they do it. They do this. They got this. You know.
Yeah.
And that be our downfall. We get too curious.
Yeah.
Impressionable people.
Right.
Impressionable.
Right. Right. Impressionable. Absolutely. Where we at?
I have to go back to say, go on verse 4.
Okay.
But for it came to pass when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other idols, and his heart was not perfect with Yahuwah his Elohim, as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahuwah, and went not fully after Yahuwah as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that it is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sanctified unto their God.
And then, as just a historical point, notice that these Semitic nations, even the ones related to Abraham himself, they weren't worshiping Yah.
No.
Ishmaelites weren't worshiping Yah. Edomites had their own Elohims that they was worshiping. All because Israel didn't do what we were supposed to do. They all worshiped there, and some of them became part of this confederacy that we're talking about today. But go ahead.
And Yahuwah was angry with Solomon because his heart had turned from Yahuwah Elohim of Yashriel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods. But he kept not that which Yahuwah commanded.
Can you imagine how heartbreaking that is, though? I can't even relate to the level of heartbreak that could be. Because you're talking about Elohim loved this dude so much that he like, hey, I'm gonna bless him because I love him so much. He ain't even gonna come into this kingdom half-assed. He gonna come into this kingdom stacked. I love him so much.
With wisdom, power, money.
Man.
He appeared to him twice.
Huh?
I said he appeared to him twice.
Yeah.
What an honor.
Yeah.
Twice.
Man. Go ahead.
Wherefore Yahuwah had said unto Solomon, forasmuch as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but I will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
Right. See, it was a sad thing that the kingdom of David could not continue through Solomon. Solomon fell off. This is the reason why, learning something on the way to learn something, that Matthew genealogy that we read is not Yeshua's genealogy. Because Solomon, Yeshua could not came through Solomon. Solomon was cut off from being one in which the Messiah could come through. Because first of all, Solomon's kingdom in itself was over with. But David's kingdom had to be preserved. This is the reason why you have a whole nother genealogy in the book of Luke. And none of the kings are in that genealogy that takes you all the way down to Yeshua. And it's split. Do y'all know where it's split at?
Some one of them Ikes in there. I don't know, the Moabite or
Are we talking about yeah, right. You get too deep. Watch. What did you just say?
No, I'm just saying it's staying under David, but just not under Solomon.
That's right.
But I don't know where it's
right, but you're absolutely correct. David is where it differs at, because Matthew gives you this royal lineage that if you have to have understanding and know that Yeshua cannot came out of this lineage, because Solomon was out the box. And then you go further down, it talks about Jeconiah. He was out the box too. Scripture clearly tells you that hey, ain't no seed coming out through you. So they were both out the box. But in Luke's genealogy, whereas it's at David, but then it says David and then his son, which one of his sons is in that genealogy? Anybody remember? Huh? Right. The son of David. Huh?
Adonijah, something like that?
Oh.
No, that's maybe not.
And see, here's the fun. See, that's the thing is that your name, man, when you go into the book of the Kings and you read about David's reign, you read about Adonijah and Absalom and maybe a few others. The one that you don't read about is that he had a son named Nathan.
Nathan, okay.
He had a son named Nathan, and he is the son of David that came down all the way to Yeshua. Yeah. Look the 3rd chapter, that genealogy there, and David, and then Nathan, the son of David, and then go to a whole bunch of people that you don't even know nothing about until they come all the way down to Joshua. No kings, no nothing there, because that's the way that the promise of David's kingdom was going to be preserved. Could be preserved through all these wicked, for the most part, kings that came out of David.
And the Ethiopians, they trace their line under Solomon, allegedly.
Right. Him having a relationship with the Queen of Sheba, and they had a son named Menelik. And that whole Ethiopian thing, boy, they be serious about that thing too. They claim they got the Ark of the Covenant and everything. But going back to this, so verse 14 says, and Yahuwah stirred up an adversary unto Solomon. So I went here just to show you that this is how the Father operates. Solomon didn't have adversaries, enemies. And when you look at how he functioned, he utilized other nationalities to help build the house of Yah.
Right.
He been used.
Like I know he didn't want the father to do it because he had too much blood on his hands.
Right, he didn't want David to do it. Right.
He got the cedars from Lebanon and from other.
That's right. King of Tyrus. Right. Yeah, he knew how to utilize, because that's the way it's supposed to be. The kingdom of the Most High is going to be the exact same way. He said kings are going to be bringing riches to the kingdom out of their own nations. That's what the scripture said concerning the kingdom of the Most High. But Solomon was a form of the kingdom of the Most High. So, but the Father stirred up an adversary. You didn't have no adversary, but now the Father got to put you in your place. And this is how he do it.
Right.
He stirs up adversaries, okay? So, let me see. Hold on 1 second. Let me see when someone go right down to the point. Skip down to verse 25.
And he was in, I'm sorry, and he was
Yeah,
in,
you catch it in the middle of a thought.
yeah, and he was an,
Oh, wait, no, I'll tell you what, start at verse 23 then.
and Elohim stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eliada, which fled from his master Hadazer. Okay, Hadaziah. I'm sorry,
Hadadezer.
Okay, Hadadezer, king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him and became captain over a band. When they slew him in Zobah, and they went to Damascus and dwelt therein, and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Yasharel all the days of Solomon, besides the mischief that Hadid did. And he abhorred Yasharel and reigned over Syria.
No, so they hated Solomon and they hated Israel as a whole. Father putting it into the heart of these enemies to rise up. Go ahead.
And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and Ephraite, of Zeruiah, Solomon's servant, whose mother's name was Zeruiah, a widow woman. Even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that he lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Milo and repaired the breaches of the city of David, his father. And the man of Jeroboam, I'm sorry, my bad. Yeah, Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. And it came to pass at that time, when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah, the Shilonite, found him in the way. And he had clad himself with a new garment. And they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus says Yahuwah the Elohim of Yasharel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have one tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which have chosen out of all the tribes of Yasharel, because they have forsaken me, and have worshipped Asherah, the goddess of Zidonians, Chemosh, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in my eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life, for David my servant's sake, whom I choose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, and I will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes. And unto his son I will give one tribe, that David my servant may have a light of always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there.
Right, because David, he lived righteously and he died in the covenant and the promises of Yah. So the father could not go back on his word to David. He had to make his word to David to last. And not only was he talking about the kingdom, but he also prophesied concerning that out of his loins shall he come, talking about Hamashiach, the Messiah. That Yahshua had to come out of the loins of David. He had to come through David's descent. But as far as his Solomon, no, he can't come through Solomon. Matter of fact, Solomon's wickedness is what caused the kingdom of Israel to split into two. So here's this guy here, Jeroboam, minding his own business. And Solomon just happened to had caused him to rule over Ephraim. inside of the kingdom. It ain't no two kingdoms, it's still one kingdom. But because of Solomon's wickedness, he gave 10 tribes to Jeroboam. Jeroboam otherwise would have never been no king, didn't have no royal blood and nothing in him. And now he's the king of the northern kingdom, what would be called the northern kingdom named Israel. And Solomon is just left with Yahudah, separate kingdom in the south. That what tribes joined to Yahudah? Benjamin. Ironically, that's ironic, being that Benjamin was the one that would have been least likely to be part of Yahudah. Right. Because of what? Because of Saul. Saul came out of Benjamin. They always felt they should have been the king and not David.
I think you could make an argument Benjamin was the largest tribe. Now, I know people can say Yahudah.
Right.
But when they had that civil war, Benjamin took on the whole kingdom and was doing them in.
To that.
And they was holding their own and smashing everybody.
Right.
So they definitely was the warrior class.
They had got estranged from everybody else.
And they was holding their own.
Right. You're right. Right.
So I don't know if that had nothing to do with it, but Benjamin was definitely, they was warriors.
Right. But anyway, I read all this just to show that this is how the Father operated. He created Abed, he created more than one, but we just focus on Jeroboam because he happened to be the first king of the divided nation of Israel. All right. Bear with me one moment.
This was the first time I ever learned that Jeroboam actually was given power by Solomon. I didn't even realize that.
See, that's the beauty of the word, man. You could have read something, and you could read it before, you just didn't remember it.
Right.
And that's just how it goes. But you probably won't ever forget that now, though.
Yeah. So he impressed Solomon. Like, sometimes the person sees something in you.
Yeah.
Solomon like, man, this guy, he's industrious. Yeah. I could make him a ruler.
Well, Saul saw something in David.
Yeah.
You know?
Moses saw something in Saul. Saul didn't see in himself. So, yeah.
But it was because of Saul's screwing up that David was able to elevate.
Right.
Same thing with Jeroboam.
Right.
Jeroboam would have been a non-issue had Solomon maintained righteousness.
Correct.
Okay. But again, the point is the Father have a way of bringing up adversaries against you when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So let's go now into Psalm 83.
I know this had to be in this lesson.
Yeah.
He can't help this lesson without
It's the foundation of the lesson right here.
Right. Yeah.
Psalm 83, and we're going to start this at the top. Now, people wonder, well, what do this Confederacy thing have to do with Black history? Just setting it up so you won't be lacking in understanding. Go ahead. Let's see what we got here.
Keep not thou silence, O Elohim. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Elohim. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden one.
He said, your enemies. The Father got enemies, man, and at the time we living in, they're enemies throughout this whole entire creation. They're enemies in the Most High. He said, they hate you, Father, and have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against who? Your people, thy people. Goes back to last week's lesson. It's my people. Yeah, thy people. And people read about thy people. They have crazy notions of what his people are. When all you gotta do is open up the book and read it, and you will know who his people are. Okay? They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. And what?
And consulted against thy hidden one.
Uh-huh.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yashrael may be no more in remembrance.
Oh, say on that note just for a minute, because this is what we're talking about. These enemies of the Most High Yah have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. Somewhere in this earth, there are people that are not a nation living in other nations. I wonder who them people could be. I wonder who those people could be. But somewhere on this earth, there are people that are not a nation, but they're living in other nations, okay? But this is what this people have said. They called the enemies of the Most High. They said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Yashrael may be no more in remembrance. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are all confederate against
That's
you.
the Confederacy. They might have had disagreements on one thing or the other, but they all agree on one thing, that this so-called covenant people of Yah, we got to cut them off from being a nation. And I don't even want to get into the whole motivation thing, but this is the way the people thought. I got my God, man. And my God is the most beautiful God on the face of the earth. Or my goddess. I don't want to stop serving my God or my goddess. Because all of the rituals related to her worship or his worship, that's part of me. That's who I am. But this nation right here, this so-called nation of Yashrael, and their Elohim that brought them out of Mizraim, Egypt, with a mighty hand. Oh man, I can't even go to church no more, because my God, what is I love? He ain't as powerful as that God and his people over there. I get vexed every time I think about it. We need to do away with them. Because when we do away with them, our gods can rise. You understand what I'm saying? This is the mindset that this Confederacy had. We can't be the people that we are if these people continue in existence. Let's cut them off from being a nation. You know? Just like right now, I'm just doing a comparison. Right now, throughout the whole world, many nations feel that America is the most powerful nation on the face of this earth. The influence of America overrides the influence of every nation on the face of this earth. And I'm sure that some of these nations, like Iran and maybe a bunch of other nations, fantasy is to bring down America. But they're too strong, too powerful. Just to show you an analogy of what it was like some 3,000-4,000 years ago, when Israel was the nation. Let's cut them off from being a nation. Since you read this already? Uh-huh.
The tabernacles of Edom.
Edom is the head of this Confederacy. And who is Edom? Who is Edom?
Brother, twin brother.
We came out the same womb as Edom at the same time. Edom.
You know, you just say that Edom is the head of the Confederacy. You know, when you go to the food store and you buy a package, you start reading the ingredients. The first ingredient is always the dominant ingredient.
Right.
It go dominant.
That's right.
So whatever the first ingredient is, that's what most in it, then it go down.
That's right.
So I just said that because you say how they they the first one mentioned.
Right. First one mentioned is Edom, the brother, twin brother. Go ahead.
And the Ishmaelites of Moab.
Ain't that a seed of Abraham? Israelites, go ahead.
And the Hagarenes.
So check this out. You got Edom, you got Ishmael, Isaac's brother. Then you got Moab, and then you got Hagarine.
Who could be the mother of the Israelites?
Huh?
The mother of the Israelites. Well, you know what I mean. But I think they came from Hagar, right?
Right, Hagar, right.
Hagar was the
Which
mother
is weird because what other nation you know is named after a woman? But this one is Hagar, the Hagarine. But all of these are close kin, relatives. Go ahead.
Gabal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Okay.
Ashur also is joined with them.
And Asher is the last one that's named. Right? Who is Asher?
We say have opened the children.
No, but who is Asher?
Asher?
Is it the Assyrians?
Right, the Assyrians. They're the Assyrians, which just happened to be the nation that took out the northern kingdom. They're the last ones mentioned, but they're the nation that succeeded in putting Israel in captivity, leaving only the southern kingdom of Yahudah. So I think that's deep. Go ahead.
Ashur also joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the
children of Lot?
Moab and Ammon.
Moab and Ammon. Or as one West ignorantly called
Chinese and Japanese. I added that.
Yeah. But just for understanding, the Moabites and the Ammonites are still pretty much right where we left them.
Right.
In the kingdom that we call modern day Jordan. But they're right over there, and Edom is over there too. Because when we was in the wilderness, the three main nations we came across that wouldn't let us go through them, wouldn't sell us no water. And Father, like, hey, don't mess with them. Yes.
And Amalek.
But Amalek
is the same thing. This is the son of Edom.
He's son of Edom, right? But that's a good point. Amalek came up out from under Edom as their own nation. So whatever the Father put upon Amalek was definitely on Amalek, not specifically on Edom. Okay. Yeah, finish that out.
Verse 9.
Yeah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kishon.
I forgot who Sisera is, but of course the Midianites are also what? Son of Abraham. Through his second wife, Keturah.
I think that was our cousins.
Right.
Midians are the cousins.
Right. So one thing that we're going to generalize here is that and I didn't want to forget that in the 7th verse. I want to make that point again. The 7th verse. Gibal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistine. So the Philistines is part of this too. Right. The Philistines, okay? Which the modern word for Philistine is what?
Modern words? Lebanon? No. Philistia?
Huh?
Philistia?
Palestine. So we try to pinpoint where they are geographically there. But the Palestinians...
Tyre would have more probably been...
Say again?
No, I was thinking when I see Tyre.
Right, Tyre and Sidon. They're in that same location.
I think that's Lebanon.
Right. So yeah, and I'm glad you made that point. So Tyre, Zidon, they're all,
Wasn't we supposed to destroy all these nations?
the nations that had the judgment of being destroyed were the Canaanite nations. The 7 nations of Canaan specifically. Now, we had wars against these nations here, but it was specifically the Canaanites, because that's the land that we occupied, the land of Canaan.
Seems like we gonna
Oh, yeah, we fought the Philistines a lot. That's where Goliath come out of, the Philistines, okay? All right, but let's move along from here. I ain't got a lot left, but bear with me one moment. All right. Let's go into Deuteronomy, the 2nd chapter. Deuteronomy, 2nd chapter. Let's start this at the top.
Then we turned and took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as Yahuwah spake unto me. And we compassed Mount Seir many days. And Yahuwah spake unto me, saying, Ye have compassed this mountain long enough. Turn you northward.
So this is the journey in the wilderness. This specifically in Deuteronomy, the whole book of Deuteronomy is really taking place in the last year of our being in the wilderness, the 40th year. So he says, then we turned and took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as Yahuwah spake unto me, Shemaiah, aka Moses, and we compassed Mount Seir many days. But those who know Mount Seir is whose territory?
Brother,
Edom. Right, it is about to say it, but right. So anytime you see Mount Seir, you think of Edom. Go ahead.
And command thou the people, saying, Ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore, meddle not with them,
Right.
for I will not give you of their land. No, not so much as a whitwheel, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession. Ye shall buy meat of them for money, that ye may eat, and ye shall also buy water of them for money, that ye may drink. For Yahuwah thy Elohim has blessed thee in all the works of thy hand. He knoweth thou walking through this great wilderness these 40 years. Yahuwah thy Elohim has been with thee. Thou hast lacked nothing. And when we passed by from our brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of plain from Elah and from Isaiah, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab. And Yahuwah said unto me, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle, for I will not give thee of their land for a possession.
Right. So if you look on the map, you will see that Israel was off the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. So when you go on the east of Israel, there's the River Jordan. And east of the River Jordan is a country that we call Jordan. But the country that we call Jordan consists of these 3 nations, which is Edom, Moab, and Ammon. To us, that whole area is the wilderness.
Right.
That's where those countries were. And we had to cross over Jordan to get to the promised land, which is Israel, which is headed in the west, going west, right before you get to the Mediterranean Sea. But go ahead.
For I will not give you of their land for a possession, because I have given all to the children of Lot for possession.
Right. So these names he's calling were the people that possessed the area by their cities. And they were mostly giants. All of these were giants that the father took out and put Moab there, put Edom there. Go ahead.
The Enians dwelt therein in times past, a people great and many and tall as the Anakims,
Right.
which also were accounted giants as the Anakims, but Moabites called them Emims.
Mm-hmm.
The Horims also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them when they had destroyed them from before them, and dwelt there in their stead, as Yasharel did into the land of his possession, which Yahuwah gave unto them.
So more than likely, we're talking about recent history. Probably even during the time when Israel was still in Egypt. Our brother Edom had already been made a nation by this time.
Right.
Ammon and Moab, and Moab, our cousins, so to speak, the children of Lot, they were made nations by this time. We weren't even a nation by the time that they were already nations. We still was trying to be a nation. We're in the wilderness. We knocked on Edom's door. He was like, you can't pass through here. The father said, leave Edom alone. Came to Moab, knocked on their door. The father said, don't mess with them. They got their possession. Same thing with Ammon. Leave them alone. Your possession is going to be on the other side of Jordan. Leave them alone. They just got their spot. Don't mess with them. Don't blow up their spot. Go ahead.
Now rise up, said I, and get you over the brook of Zered. And we went over the brook of Zered. And the space in which we came from, Kadesh Barnoni, until we were come over the brook of Zered with 38 years, until all the generation of the men of war were wasted out from among the hosts.
He said 38 years, right? That's almost 40. 38 years, the reason why we went through the wilderness for 38 years, or 40 years actually, was because that's the way the father had to kill off the generation. The older generation that were over 20 years old when we came into the wilderness, they all died because they just wouldn't do right. Go back to the lesson, if my people, stiff-necked people, he had to kill them all and only left their children, the children of Israel, the next generation. He commanded them, don't be like your fathers. That's crazy. That's just how wicked the covenant people were. And not only did they have to march around in circles through that whole wilderness, 40 years, but it was also a way in which the father could do what? Yeah, they were perfect, for sure. But there was one really important thing that had to be done during that time.
What the question was again, sir?
What was going on through the 40 years? That not only did that take the time for that generation to die, but it was also for something else too.
Relieve them of that slavery mindset.
That's a nice way of putting it. But to teach them, especially that new generation, to teach them, because they could not go into the promised land ignorant.
Teach them not to be like their father.
Right. Teaching those laws and statutes.
Right.
When they came into the land, you know how to be. You couldn't go into that land being ignorant. And it took 40 years of teaching for them to be able to be found worthy to make it, to put their feet in a place that even Moses, Shemaiah was not able to put his feet in.
From a carnal dynamic, even though but from a carnal dynamic, even though it's not written, but just realistically, I could see how they had to build themselves as a military force during that time too,
Mhm.
because they were slaves in Egypt.
Right.
They didn't know no organization,
That's right.
no battle formations,
Right.
nothing like that.
Mhm.
For you to go into these nations and take them over, I assume whether under Yeshua, son of Nun, or
Right.
whoever, they had to learn
Uh-huh.
warfare
Right.
to be able to
Right.
take over.
Yeah, Shemaiah had a big part of that too, because he was a man of war
Right.
under the Egyptian
Correct.
nation.
Yeah.
So he, it was more than a notion to understand why Shemaiah, aka Moses, was chosen by the Most High. Where we at?
I guess 15.
You say 15?
Yeah.
Right, go ahead. Mhm.
For indeed the hand of Yahweh was against them to destroy them from among the host until they were consumed. So it came to pass when all the men of war were consumed and dead from among the people, that Yahweh spake unto me, saying, Thou art to pass over through Or, the coast of Moab, this day. And when thou comest nigh over against the children of Ammon, distress them not, nor meddle with them, for I will not give thee of the land of the children of Ammon any possession, because I had given unto the children of Lot for a possession. That also was accounted a land of giants. Giants dwell therein old time, and the Ammonites called them Zamzummims.
Yep.
A lot of people great and many and tall as the Anakims, but Yahuwah destroyed them before them, and they succeeded them and dwelt in their stead. And as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, when he destroyed the Horims from before them, and they succeeded them, and dwelt in their stead even until this day.
Mhm.
And the Abims, which dwelt in Hazarim, even unto Azar, the Kephtorims, which came forth out of Ketor, destroyed them, and dwelt in their stead. Rise ye up, take your journey, and pass over the river Arnon. Behold, I have given it into thy hand. Sihon, the Amorite king of Heshbon, and his land began to possess it and contend with him in battle.
Because the Amorites were who?
To the who? The Ammonites?
Amorites?
The Amorites.
Right.
The Amorites were. You mean who they were? The people I know.
Right.
I can't remember exactly, but I
believe
know
they
the
were
Canaanites.
Canaan, right.
Yeah, the Canaanites.
Canaan. Right. So the Shemitic people of Moab, Ammon, and Edom said, don't mess with them.
Right.
And now I'm about to give y'all this first possession, which is of the Amorites. Go ahead.
This day will I begin to put the dread of thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven.
Whoa. Whoa. See, this is history that we're reading about. You're not going to learn this in school because, well, quite frankly, these nations don't mean nothing in modern day, to teach it. But back in that day, all of these nations under the whole heaven feared the covenant people, the covenant nation of Yahshua. Go ahead.
Okay. The whole heaven who shall. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Fear. Okay. This day I begin to put the dread over thee and the fear of thee upon the nations that are under the whole heaven. Who shall hear report of thee and shall tremble and be in anguish because of thee?
Oh, that's the part they said they're going to be in anguish because of thee. So y'all going to have haters from the very get-go. He's telling them. Go ahead.
And I sent messengers out of the wilderness of Kedemoth unto Shaham, king of Heshbon, with the words of peace, saying, Let me pass through thy land. I will go along by the highway. I will neither turn unto the right hand nor to the left. Thou shalt sell me meat for money that I may eat, and give me water for money that I may drink. Only I will pass through on my feet. As the children of Esau which dwell in Seir, and the Moabites which dwell in Ar, did unto me, until I shall pass over Jordan into the land which Yahuwah our Elohim giveth us. But Sihon, king of Heshbon, will not let us pass by him. For Yahuwah thy Elohim hardened his spirit and made his heart obstinate, that he might deliver him into thy hand, as appears this day.
Because they were a Canaanite nation, they were already judged. And the father didn't even allow the king to even be nice and say, yeah, you come on through.
Right.
He hardened his heart like he hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Right.
Because when the father put a judgment on the nations, then they're going to have to deal with that judgment.
Mm.
Every time I read concerning Pharaoh, I'm like, you know what? It's weird how the father keeps saying he had to harden Pharaoh's heart.
Right.
Because otherwise, Pharaoh would have been like, you know what? You make a good point.
And then he Saul's heart also.
Okay.
Everything for a purpose. Right.
Right.
You know, that remind me of reading this. It remind me too. You know, Israel was being persecuted by the Philistines, and he raised up a mighty man in Samson. But Samson of the poor judging women, but it was of the father's doing. No, I'm just saying it was of the father's doing because Samson was going to be the lesson. Right. Samson was going. Yeah, but Samson's going to be a deliverer. Yeah. So, but I'm saying Samson was our deliverer. He delivered us. Okay? Right. It was through his death. Right. He still, freed us from under the bondage, under the bondage of the Philistines. Right. So I'm just saying the Most High hardened heart for his wills to be carried out. Absolutely. Absolutely. Even when we can't even see the reality of it, the Father definitely puts it in place. So these who are these again? The Amorites. We knocked on their door too. But the Father the Father didn't say he hardened the king of Moab, Ammon, and Edom's heart. Right. He just told Israel, hey, just leave them alone. Don't fight with them. Right. Now we're at the Amorites area, and I'm going to harden this king's heart because it's time for them to be judged. They were already judged. Matter of fact, that's deep. So just to bring a reference to this, going all the way back to when Abraham was alive, Genesis, the 15th chapter, right? He's talking to the Father, and the Father told him, you're going to die and sleep with your fathers. Mm-hmm. But in the fourth generation, they're going to come right here again because the iniquity of the Amorites have not yet come to full. Right. Right now, it came to full right here. Right here. So it's really interesting to understand what was going on previous to put it into a historical context. Right. Yeah, y'all done. I'm gonna harden this king's heart because he might be a nicer king, but it hasn't made. He gonna harden y'all down. Y'all can't come here. Dog, turn back where y'all come from. Okay, cool. Most times be like your parents. Sometimes your parents. Most times like give you a certain amount of rope. Right. And then afterwards, same thing with your parents. Your parents might be angry with you for a while. Right. Keep still in there. They might tell you 3 or 4 times, but then, hey, that 5th time is over. They come in there with wrath. You know what I mean? It's time to get your butt whipped. When we look in Revelation. You gave 12 a lot of latitude, didn't you? You gave 12 a lot of latitude, didn't you? But then it got to a point where. Right. All right. I'm going to make you dance. Hey, we got another sub-lesson right here, boy. The Chronicles of 12. But even in Revelation, though, he said, the stench of Babylon come to his nostrils,
Right.
assuring you that Most High allow you to do wickedness
Yeah.
for a moment,
Yeah.
and then when they get too much,
Uh-huh.
hey, it's judgment.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So moving right along from there, let's read about this our twin brother. Let's go into the book of Obadiah and read about him so we can understand some things about the head of the Confederacy.
And that's definitely a good point with the Amorites.
What's that?
No, how with Abraham in Genesis 15.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Obadiah. Father's a just Elohim. You decide where you want to be in his eyes. And when the Father gets done with you, he's going to take you out.
What chapter?
Yeah. Hey, pick one. Whichever one you get to, that's the one we're going to start off at. Obadiah. Just make sure you start at verse 1.
The vision of Obadiah. Thus says Yahuwah Elohim concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahuwah, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in the battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen.
Ooh.
Thou art greatly despised.
So that's one thing we can read about Edom based off of Obadiah. He said, the Father said, I will make you small among the heathen. Meaning that y'all not going to be a lot of people. Y'all going to be small among the heathen. And at the same time, thou art greatly despised. That's why when people today try to figure out who Edom is, who is Edom, man? Edom. And a lot of Israelites say Edom is the white people, which is impossible. And one of the reasons why it's impossible, because we know historically that the white people or European people are the seed of Japhet, one of the 3 sons of Noah, Japhet. That the whole European continent is made up of, better known as white people. Genesis 9th chapter says that Japhet shall be enlarged, right? Japhet shall be enlarged. Now, that's a whole opposite of being made small. Huh? They shall be enlarged. And not only does it say they shall be enlarged, it says something else about Japhet. Anybody remember?
They shall dwell in the tents of Shem.
They shall dwell in the tents of Shem.
Anham.
Huh?
I think it's the Shem, Anham, both of them.
I said Shem.
Oh, just Shem?
Yeah, they shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So Israel is Shem. Come out of Shem. And right now, in the land of Israel, who's ruling over there?
The Gentiles.
Gentiles. Japhet. He's occupying those areas. Okay. But Edom here is going to be small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So the fact that they small, but you see all these white people throughout the world, and they all speak different languages, but they all happen to be Edom. How can you gonna allow somebody to teach you that that's Edom without doing no type of easy reading to see that that's impossible? But biblically, we know if we don't know nothing else, Edom is the head of this confederacy. So just right there, you have to understand that Edom was so small that they needed other nations to come together with.
How does that make sense?
Right. Rome didn't really need other nations to be that great kingdom that they were. Neither did Greece, bro. Neither did Greece. But when it comes down to what Edom wanted to do, let us come together that they should no longer be a nation, that the name of Yahshua should be no more in remembrance. That's what a small people do. Real simple. Go ahead.
The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, says Yahweh. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night.
Oh, so now he's comparing them to being thieves. How about that? Edom being compared to being a thief. He say, just look at this. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, go ahead.
How art thou cut off?
The Father is teaching us, but then he's in the mid-sentence thinking about how horrible Edom was at the people. Like, y'all just don't know. I can't even finish my statement just to say, how are y'all cut off? Y'all just don't know. Go ahead.
Would they not have stolen till they had enough?
Then he come right back in the midst of the sentence. Would the robbers have stolen till they had enough? I'm trying to, y'all are not like the average thieves, okay? Y'all will take as much as y'all can get, and even that's not enough. Father is in the middle of him trying to bring the point, like, man, y'all just don't know how cut off y'all are. It's just that bad. That's crazy. But go ahead.
If the great gatherers came to thee, would they have not leave some grapes?
Some grapes?
They took all the spoils.
Man, go ahead.
How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sold up? All the men of thy confederacy.
What?
All the men of thy confederacy.
Well, see what I'm saying? If you ain't read Psalms and you don't know what the Confederacy is, you think that's just some random people, his 3 friends or whatever, 4 friends or whatever. But we read about who the Confederacy is, the mother nations. He says, all the men of thy Confederacy, go ahead,
have brought thee even to the border.
And again, when you think of that term, you're like, man, it's just ironically that these people that would call themselves the Confederacy in this country, they would take that name, the Confederate States of America. And what they all was about, subjugating the Israelites. Huh? Why would they choose a name Confederacy? Ain't nothing good in the Bible about that term Confederacy. The scripture called the Confederacy, they are your enemies, the enemies of Yah. Huh? But they, that's the name that they chose, the Confederacy. Made them a flag and got them a president and everything else. Because they all came and they like, look, our whole purpose is that we want to keep these slaves. Ain't nobody take these slaves away from us.
Actually, that Confederacy flag was not called the Confederacy flag. It was called something else. Because I watched all this posting and got educated. What you say now?
I heard it was a battle flag, but
yeah, it was a battle flag. It was actually our flag as a people.
Yeah.
Against the Northerns or whatnot. So it was basically a battle flag. It wasn't a Confederate quote unquote flag, as they ignorant call today.
Yeah. But that's definitely the name that they came around and claimed, though. And the ironic thing about that is this, and there's no way you can get around this, okay? America are, what's the word? They are accommodating to the Confederacy to this day. But the Confederacy States of America was the enemy against this country, United States of America. They have shedded more blood in this country than any other nation that ever came against America. What other nation that came against America and shed American blood on its own soil? Huh? So my thing is that this country should feel the same way about the Confederacy as they would if I put a flag of Iran on my car, or a flag of whatever nation that came against America. But they don't mind the Confederacy. They don't mind that at all. You still have politicians that love the Confederacy, but they were enemies of this country. Somebody help me explain how that works. Okay? But anyway, going back to the original Confederacy, all the men of that Confederacy had brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee. Did you finish that? Verse 7.
Okay. The men that are at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, says Yahuwah, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of Mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O T-man, shall be dismayed to the end of that every one of the Mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
That's the judgment placed upon our brother Esau. Because of his violence against Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Watch this.
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and the foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them.
That's right. So what time period are we talking about right here?
That's Babylonian.
Huh? Actually, I believe it was more than one time period. I believe it could have been during the Babylonian time, absolutely. But I know for sure it was in the Roman time in 70 AD.
So it's more prophetical with all Obadiah talking about here?
Yes.
Two-sided prophecy.
Right.
Two-term prophecy.
Right. But Edom was always the conduit. Right. The go-between. Between the rulers and Israel. So if you're talking about Babylon, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're talking about Rome, same way right there.
Yeah.
Because
Media Persia too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Every single time.
Was it Hadad?
Huh?
Not Hadad, but Haman.
Right.
I'm thinking about Haman.
Haman doing the mid right. He's the one that built the gallows.
Right.
To hang Mordecai on. Exactly.
Try to get the Israelites killed.
Right. And the whole entire kingdom, Israel was to be cut off.
Just for a point, I could be corrected. I think Teman here, what is it? Teman was one of the sons of Edom too.
Okay.
I could be corrected.
Yeah, I know Teman is related to that.
I gotta look at the genealogy.
Yeah.
I think he's one of Esau's children.
Every time I seen the word Teman, I thought it was one of them names like Steer, like previous, but I'm not sure. It could be one of the sons. But it's definitely related to Edom.
Right.
Either way. But he says, for thy advice, he says, oh yeah, verse 11. Go ahead.
No, that's what we did. Okay. And should be cut off with
Okay, yeah, so you read that. In the day that you stood on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, into our gates, y'all, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even you, Edom, was as one of them. Let's see what Edom did. Verse 12.
But thou shouldest have not looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Yahudah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress.
Right. Every time we was at war with another nation, y'all was right there to help those nations out. Standing on the other side, pointing, saying, get them, get them, get them. Edom was intelligence
Right.
to the other nations. Right.
You tell them how to get it.
That's right.
They know about our
That's
laws
right.
and everything. They were the ones that, get them.
That's right.
Get them to worship in your God. They are gonna turn their back on.
That's right.
Exactly how to go about getting.
That's right.
You know what? I'm reminded of the show Roots. I think when they came in the 2000s or something, they had the show. They remade the movie or the show.
Right.
Roots.
Uh-huh.
And I believe Kuta Kinte, his tribe, whenever the Gentiles came to get them, you saw another nation. They was like pointing them like, oh, there they go right there. They was actually taking them over to the Gentiles to be flipped over. This gave a visualization of that. I thought about that when I read this here. Just a visualization of the Edomites pointing out these different tribes to take them over to the ship or whatnot.
Yeah. That's it. And it was kind of like that even in the first Roots too. The Gentiles wasn't arbitrarily taking away black people. They always had someone in the middle, a middleman, to point to the ones that would be taken. Every single time, every single movie, it showed that same thing.
Quick correction. Teman was Esau's grandson.
Oh, grandson.
Not the son, his grandson.
Glad you looked that up. Okay. Third generation of Edom. Okay. But 12 again. Edom, you should not have looked on the day of your brother in the day that he became a stranger. I done already judged Israel, but the point is that I don't care how many adversaries are raised up against the chosen people. Unless the Father allows it, it ain't nothing that those adversaries could do. There was nothing that Moab could do, that Ammon could do, that Edom could do, and all of the Confederacy, they couldn't do anything until the Father allowed it to happen. But he's telling Edom that you should not have sided with the enemy. You should not have helped them against your brother. Because the Father commanded us in the law, love Edom. He said, do not abhor Edom. He's a righteous Elohim. He like, that's because he is your brother. But yet our brother hated us. And he took every opportunity to come against Israel. You should not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should you have rejoiced over the children of Yahudah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Verse 13.
Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldst thou have delivered up those that did remain in the day of distress.
Okay, so now in the book of Jasher, it recounts a time way back in the Old Testament, that we call it, that Edom joined forces with Rome, or Chittim, as it was called back then, and it said they became one people. And that's one of the things that One West used to make Edom be a white people, European, because of that. But just because it says you're going to be one people, you can be one nation. but you're still going to be Edom, and they're still going to be a Gentile. You cannot change your ethnicity. It's impossible. Israel was in Egypt, Mizraim, for 400 years. There was no changing of an ethnicity. If an Egyptian man laid with an Israelite woman, that child was a Egyptian.
So Egyptian. Oh yeah.
Yeah, fathers, whatever the father is, that's what the child is. That's why the Egyptians tried to kill all the male children of Israel, 2 years old and under, because without that whole generation of Israelite males, the women would be having Egyptian babies. They would have destroyed Israel. Okay, so I bring up that point about Edom joining with Rome, right? But then, how come when you get to the New Testament, you got the Romans like Pilate and the Caesar, whoever was ruling, Julius Caesar, whatever. But then you got Herod, King Herod. They weren't Gentiles, they were Edomites. But you think that by that time they'd have been the same people, if that doctrine is correct. But they were never the same people. The Herods were Edom, and Julius Caesar was a Roman. Like Pilate, he was a Roman. Just to show you how crazy that doctrine is that they got. Okay? And then on another lesson, when you look up Edom in the encyclopedias, it reads that in 70 AD, Edom ceased to exist as a people. That's what it says in the history books. In the regular encyclopedias, it reads like that. 70 AD. What happened in 70 AD that we know of?
When they came up to power, like, hey, I'm going to take over everything.
There you go.
Of Jerusalem.
Titus and his son Vespasian, I might have that the other way around, I forget. They came and destroyed Jerusalem, destroyed the temple, everything. Took 3 years to do it. So if Edom ceased to exist as a people, but they were still there, because King Agrippa reigned all the way up to 100 CE, according to the encyclopedias. What were they being called at that time?
Which who was being called?
Edom.
Romans?
No, they were called Jews. They called them Jews at that time. That's right. That's right. Because they literally replaced the actual Israelites when we came out the land.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we left.
That's right. We were out. That's right.
So they stayed.
Yeah. They stayed there.
Always watching what they
were
doing. So
that's right. Okay. But they were the king of Jehudah still.
Right.
King of Judea. So it wasn't far-fetched for the Romans to say, oh, the Jews. Because that's where Herod was. He was the king of the Jews. See, the Romans didn't really have an understanding of distinguishing who was who when they came into power.
So they all look alike.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's the reason why Josephus broke the whole thing down to them. In that big book of Josephus, he wrote that to the Romans. But they had other historians that also wrote our history to the Romans. Josephus is the most famous of all of them, though. He says in this book, the Romans thought that we were Egyptians, that we were people that came out of Egypt. Okay, so they see that these Europeans, they're coming into power, and they don't know nothing about our history or whatever. So they had to have historians to write these things so they would understand. These were people that the scripture says that neither we or our fathers have known. We've never seen these European people before, prophetically, speaking a language that we would not understand. And then not only that, Deuteronomy says that I will provoke y'all to jealousy by a foolish nation. And then Paul turns around in the book of Romans and like, y'all Romans, y'all the foolish nation that we already was told about. Okay, where we at? We ain't got too much longer to go.
Verse 15.
Okay.
For the day of Yahuwah is near upon all the heathen.
Upon all the heathen, said the day of Yah is near upon all the heathen. That's why I keep telling y'all, all prophets, Obadiah, Isaiah, they all prophesied of a time that we ain't even came yet. So I get the Old Testament has been done away when they prophesy about stuff that we still waiting for. He said the day of Yah is near upon some other heathen.
All of them.
Go ahead.
As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they that shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possession.
That is what the kingdom of the Most High is all about. The return of the covenant people going back to our possessions, being a nation again. Church don't teach you that, but the Bible teaches you that, because this is what it's all about, the relationship between the Most High and his covenant people. Go ahead.
And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahuwah has spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau, and they of the plain the Philistines, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim, and the fields of Samaria and Bahamim shall possess Gilead, and the captivity of hosts of the children of Yashrael shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath, and the captivity of Jerusalem, which is Separate, shall possess the cities of the south.
So, and look what it said. It's going to take until the end time, and he's still calling us the captivity of Israel and the captivity of Yahudah or Jerusalem. So we ain't going to get out of this captivity until this time right here. Go ahead.
And the Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahshua.
This is what we're looking forward to. The return of the kingdom of Israel at the time of the end, okay? All right, let's go into 1 Samuel, the 14th chapter.
What you thinking about, Joe?
My book got on that last verse, he got James 5:20 as a reference, and I don't know what would go with that. That's why I was trying to. I'm like, that don't make no sense.
James 5?
Yeah, James
I
5.
thought you thinking about something.
Right.
No, it was just, I was trying to say that don't make no sense really. So why would that would even? But I don't know.
I didn't want to miss that.
Yeah,
I just thought y'all would probably ask you the same thing, but I wasn't listening.
yeah, let him know that what he converted to. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With saying the difference I had in the multitude. That's what I say. To me, it went. I don't even see why they put it. It just ain't make sense.
Well,
You get what I'm saying? I'm like, what it reads is 20. It just say, let him know that he which converted the sinner from error to his way shall save a soul from death and shall hide a multitude of sins. It don't make no
oh, yeah, you got me on that.
Yeah. But when I saw
Sometimes it does that.
No.
Well, like I'm saying, I'm like, that don't make no, I don't know back in the day, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That would refer to
Right. Right.
yeah, not to the end times. As far as,
Somebody give me a time right quick.
left or-
408? Okay, we're gonna get through this. Matter of fact, I'm about to count it down in just a minute. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna count it down in just a minute, y'all. Bear with me. 1 Samuel, the 14th chapter. First Samuel, the 14th chapter.
Wow. I get that in one turn.
You got
That was amazing.
Gentiles call it serendipity.
Serendipity. Caught me by surprise.
And it was meant to happen.
Mm.
Okay, 1 Samuel, the 14th chapter, start that at the top. Show you how the Father operates with us. Go ahead.
Now it came to pass upon the day that Jonathan, the son of Shaul, said unto the young man that bare his armor, come, and let us go over to the Philistines' garrison that is on the other side. But he told not his father. And Shaul tarried in the uttermost part of Gibeah, under the pomegranate tree, which is in Migron. And the people that were with him were about 600 men. And Ahiah, the son of Ahiatub, Ichabod's brother, the son of Phinehas, Phinehas,
Right.
Phinehas, the son of Eli, Yahuwah's priest in Shiloh, wearing the ephod. And the people knew not that Jonathan was gone.
Y'all remember who Eli was?
That was the son of. That was
It was the mentor.
mentor of Solomon.
Samuel.
Yeah,
Samuel. Right. Okay.
And between the passages by which Jonathan sought to go over to the Philistines' garrison, there was a sharp rock on the side, and a sharp rock on the other side. And the name of one was Bozez, and the name of the other Seneh. The forefront of one was situate northward.
Situated.
Situated. Okay, situated northward over against Michmash, and the other southward over against Gibeah.
Right. So Jonathan, he's like, we're about to do some stuff with these Philistines over here. And so he's just breaking down where the Philistines was at. But there was a war between Israel and the Philistines. Go ahead.
And Jonathan said unto the young man that bare his armor, come, and let us go over to the garrison of these uncircumcised. It may be that Yahuwah will work for us, for there is no restraint to Yahuwah to save by many or by few. And his arm bearer said unto him, do all that is in thy heart. Turn thee, behold, I am with thee according to thy heart. Then said Jonathan, behold, we will pass over these men, and we will discover ourselves to them. And if they say thus unto us, tarry until we come to you, then we will stand still in our place, and will not go up unto them. But if they say thus, come up unto us, then we will go up, for Yahuwah hath delivered them into our hand. And this shall be a sign unto us. And both of them discovered themselves unto the garrison of the Philistines, and to the Philistines said, behold, the Hebrews come forth out of the holes where they had hid themselves. And the men of the garrison answered Jonathan and his armor bearer and said, come up to us, and we will show you a thing. And Jonathan said unto the armor bearer, come up after me, for Yahuwah hath delivered them into the hands of Yasharel.
Boy, Jonathan he wasn't like his dad. Saul.
It's a level of bravery right here we're reading about.
Yeah, that's right. He had no doubt what the outcome would be.
Right.
Believe it or I'm sorry. I'm gonna say believe it or not, he was like a little bit like David at that point.
That's correct.
Because David, what made him so strong was David ain't never just run head first. He was like, hey, give me some kind of sign, or
Right.
let me, if you want me to do this,
Uh-huh.
tell me something that, and then I'll do it. But he was saying it the same way, his own
Right.
way, like, look,
Right.
I'm gonna put it out there.
Right.
He say, come on.
Uh-huh.
That means he the most high that gave him to it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you say whatever, hey,
Right.
we'll fall back, we'll wait.
Uh-huh.
He said the right thing. Oh,
Right.
you want it to come on? Oh, we got it. You know what I'm saying? So that feels like a different level of
Philistines was talking smart too. Like, yeah, I got something for you. Come
Right.
Yeah.
Gonna show you the thing. Right.
That was funny, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. And Jonathan climbed up upon his hand and upon his feet, and his armor bearer after him. And they fell before Jonathan, and his armor bearer slew after him. And that first slaughter which Jonathan and his armor bearer made was about 20 men within as it were a half acre of land which a yoke of oxen might plow.
Uh-huh.
And there was trembling in the host, in the field, and among all the people, the garrison and the spoilers, they also trembled, and the earth quaked. So it was a very great trembling.
Wow.
And the watchmen of Shaul, Gibeah of Benjamin, looked, and behold, the multitude melted away, and they went on beating down one another. Then said Shaul unto the people that were with him, number now, and see who is gone from us. And when they had numbered, behold, Jonathan and his armor bearer was not there.
Right.
And Shaul said unto Ahiah, bring hither the ark of Elohim. For the ark of Elohim was that time with the children of Yasharel. Okay. And it came to pass while Shaul talked unto the priest that the noise that was in the host of the Philistines went on and increased. And Shaul said unto the priest, withdraw thy hand. And Shaul and all the people that was with him assembled themselves, and they came to the battle. And behold, every man's sword was against his fellow. And there was a very great discomfiture.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, the Hebrews that were with the Philistines before that time, which went up with them into the camp from the country round about, even they also turned to be with the Israelites that were with Shaul and Jonathan. Likewise, all the men of Jezreel, which had hid themselves in the Mount Ephraim, when they heard that the Philistines fled, even they also followed after them in the battle.
Mm-hmm.
So Yahuwah saved Jezreel that day, and the battle passed over unto Behem. And the men of Jezreel were distressed that day, for Shaul had adjured the people, saying, cursed be the man that eateth any food until evening, that I may be avenged on my enemy. So none of the people tasted any food. And all there the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were coming to the wood, behold, the honey dropped, but no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of the rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in a honeycomb, and put his hands to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered one of the people and said, thy father straightly charged the people with an oath, saying, cursed be the man that eateth any food this day. And the people were faint. Then said Jonathan, my father has troubled the land. See, I pray you, how my eyes have been enlightened, because I tasted a little of this honey. How much more if happily the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies, which they found? For had there not been now a much greater slaughter among the Philistines?
Yeah, that's a question.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Asking them, have there not now been a much greater slaughter among the Philistines? I think not. Just go ahead.
And they smote the Philistines that day from Michmash to Alajon, and the people were very faint. And the people flew upon the spoil, and took sheep and oxen and calves, and slew them on the ground. And the people did eat them with the blood. Yeah. Then they told Saul, saying, behold, the people sinned against Yahuwah, and that they eat with the blood. And he said, ye have transgressed. roll a great stone unto me this day. And Saul said, disperse yourselves among the people, and say unto them, bring me hither every man his ox, every man his sheep, and slay them here and eat, and sin not against Yahuwah, and eat the one with blood. And all the people brought every man his ox with him that night, and slew them there. And Shaul built an altar to Yahuwah. The same was the first altar that he built unto Yahuwah. And Shaul said, let us go down after the Philistines by night, and spoil them until the morning light, and let us not leave a man of them. And they said, do so whatever seemeth good unto thee. Then said the priest, let us draw near hither unto Elohim. And Shaul asked counsel of Elohim, shall I go down after the Philistines without deliver them into the hand of Yasharal? But he answered him not that day.
Skip down to verse 46. What happened in between is that Saul was about to kill Jonathan when he found out that he ate that honey. But the people delivered Jonathan from his dad. So we are going to skip down after that. Verse 46.
Then Shaul went up on the following the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. So Shaul took the kingdom over Yasharal and fought against all his enemies on every side, against Moab, against the children of Ammon, against Edom, and against the kings of Zobah, and against the Philistines, and whithersoever he turned himself, he vexed.
So these are the Confederacy nations right here. But when the Father was on our side, they couldn't do nothing against Israel. Now that's the point that we're reading here. And basically, it wasn't even about Saul. It was more about Jonathan, his son. His son had more righteousness, more faith than his father Saul. And because of that, the Father was delivering Israel from these Confederate nations. All right. I'm going to count it down now. We at number 5, counting it down. All right. Number 5, counting it down. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, 25th chapter.
Before we move ahead, I saw something in this here. As we all see how Jonathan faith was. He wasn't waiting to get the covenant to go and destroy these people. Him and his heart and his relationship with the Most High, and how he depended on the Most High, not this object, to bring him to battle. He knew that the Most High was with him and spiritually.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
And then look how when he ate the honey, he was enlightened. See, when we move in the spirit and not in the physical, the outcome is different. And because I see the eyes of Saul and how he looked, he was like, man, let me wait, let us fast. Right. He wanted them to fast so that they can win the battle. But what Jonathan did, he was like, no, let me go with my armor bearer, because I know this is something that the Most High is urging me to do.
Right.
Because my father is living in fear, but I'm living in faith. I'm depending on the spirit of the Most High to lead me. And he was like, if this happened, we're gonna do this. But if this happened, we're not gonna do this. Right. He put the basically, flip the coin and said, hey, heads, we're gonna do this, tails. Whatever happens, we're gonna go according to it. And when he went there and he depended on the Most High on his victory, it came. And then not only the victory came, it was confusing among the camp. When they started, they was killing each other or whatnot. Right. And it was like that whole acre of 20 people that he killed, that he slayed, he was living in obedience to the Most High and not depending on this object or this. I don't want to say idol, but it seemed like in the mindset of
and you're absolutely correct. And you're reading that, like you say, it's the Ark of the Covenant, but the Ark of the Covenant is not going to do what it's supposed to do in the hands of wickedness. And that's exactly like you said, that's what Saul, like, hey, go get that. Wait a minute, why you said go get that?
I'm already out
Your
here.
son had already went out there and did the work. That reminds me of last Shabbat when we read, what was that? What was that? Jeremiah somewhere we read. And don't say the temple of Yah, the temple of Yah,
Right.
the temple of Yah are these. Because that's what people like, hey, we got the temple or whatever. But wait a minute. If you ain't got the temple right,
It's inside
right,
the rock, not
right,
inside of you. Then
it ain't gonna do you no good.
Ain't gonna do no good.
Right, man. I'm glad you brought that point out there. That's exactly what Saul did, man. Go get the ark, man. Come on, man. Ain't nobody listening to that.
What are you tearing for?
And then on top of that, it was important for Jonathan to be isolated away because he didn't know that his father had made a decree not to eat anything.
Right.
If he would have known that, he would have not eaten anything either. But he didn't know that. So he was operating with whatever was going on was between him and the Most High. While Saul is doing his little thing, whatever it is he's trying to do, he was handling business. Jonathan was handling business. I'm glad you brought that out. Absolutely.
Would it have been just to kill Jonathan, saying that he didn't hear the command?
But see, the thing was, this ain't the father's command.
I understand.
Right. So Jonathan, he didn't know. He didn't know that his father said X, Y, and Z. So it wouldn't have been righteousness, especially in low whatever of the victories that he made on top of that. That would have looked crazy. That's just like just a bad example.
Let me see if we go in there. Let me see if we go in there.
My used to be favorite basketball team, the Chicago Bulls. I hate them, man. I hate them. They traded a couple of weeks ago. They traded two of their best players. Try to save money, but the players was loved by the fans. I'm saying this is a lesson because they traded two of the most beloved players on the team. One of them was from Chicago, South Side. Didn't nobody think that he would ever go anywhere. They got rid of him. And so you do something like that because why? Because you're trying to save a little bit of money, whatever. But what's left for the players that are not better than these two that you got rid of? You ain't got no future on this team. And they done lost every game since the trade. But you lose fans. And out there, they being like Saul. That's what made me think about it. You ain't serving the people, you serving yourself. And now you done lost fans. The players on the team thinking, I ain't got no future here because I know I'm not as good as who you got rid of. What type of stupidity is that? So that's the first thing that popped into my mind. So the people, Saul wanted to kill Jonathan, but the people like, no, he ain't dying today. The people rose up, and that's what the part that we skipped over. But that's what the people did. They saved Jonathan's life. So it would have been very wicked for him to have killed his son.
Another little part I take from that was like courage, bravery is contagious, same way fear is contagious. Right. I think it's written in the law somewhere that if a man fearful, you send him home, you don't send him to battle because he can melt the hearts of the other fighters, right? And when we read about what Jonathan did, because there was Israelites who was living amongst the Philistines.
Yeah, right.
They rise up, came to fight. You had some other soldiers who was in the cave somewhere. They rise up, because that courage was contagious, and it helped them win the battle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. But again, the point is that I don't care how strong the so-called Confederacy is, if the father's on your side, it ain't nothing that Confederacy could do. And that was the example there. Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah, I don't know which Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, the 25th chapter. This is number 4. Number 4, y'all. Jeremiah, 25th chapter.
Y'all might not have a their Bible, but the top part of this say Judah ignores warnings of the prophet. Like, sounds about right.
That sounds about right. That's what we're gonna read. Start at the top. So.
The word that came to Jeremiah concerning all the people of Yahudah in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yahudah, that was the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon.
Now again, Nebuchadnezzar represents the rulership of white people on this earth. That's where they come from. Nebuchadnezzar being that. And he wasn't really white, to be honest, but he was a Gentile. That's the crazy part about it. But here he was. It's the 1st year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. Go ahead.
The which Jeremiah the prophet spake unto all the people of Yahudah and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, saying, from the 13th year of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Yahudah, even until this day, that there is 3 and 20th year, the word of Yahuwah has come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early in speaking. But ye have not hearkened, and Yahuwah has sent unto you all his servants, the prophets, rising early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, nor inclined your ear to hear. They said, turn ye again, now every one from his evil way, and from the evil of your doing, and dwell in the land that Yahuwah had given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever.
See there? Sounds simple, right? But the people in their mind like, man, ain't no y'all gave me none of this stuff. I've been here for a long time. I live just like how my evil father did, or you call evil, and ain't nothing happened. I ain't lost nothing. That's how we think. But the prophets rose, kept rising up early, telling them the same message, preaching unto them the gospel. I'm telling y'all, be obedient. Now we got this King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon rose up. Right now, in our mind, he ain't nothing but a threat. But in the Father's mind, it's going to be the enemy. That's just crazy, but go ahead.
And go not after other gods to serve them and to worship them, and provoke me not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, says Yahuwah, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to your own hurt. Therefore, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, says Yahuwah.
He says all the families of the north. So this show you how powerful Nebuchadnezzar was. He had control of all of these European people that y'all ain't never even seen before. Y'all don't even know their language or nothing. But the prophet is telling them, I will send and take all the families of the north, says Yah. Go ahead.
And Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and an hissing, and a perpetual desolation. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride, and the sounds of the millstones, and the light of the candle. And this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, says Yahuwah, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it a perpetual desolation. And I will bring upon that land all my words which I have pronounced against it, even all that is written in this book, which Jeremiah that has prophesied against all the nations. For many nations and great kings shall serve themselves of them also, and I will recompense them according to their deeds and according to the works of their own hands. For thus says Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharel unto me, take the wine cup of this, fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. Then took I the cup of Yahuwah's hand and made all the nations to drink unto whom Yahuwah had sent me, to wit Jerusalem and the cities of Yahudah and the kings thereof and the princes thereof, to make them a desolation and astonishment and hissing and a curse, as if it is this day.
Check this out. Go ahead.
Right.
Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people, and all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ashkelon, and Azal, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom and Moab, and the children of
Oh,
Ammon,
even the Confederacy about to get it. Go ahead.
Right.
and all the kings of Tyrus,
Yep, the Confederacy.
and all the kings of Zidon,
Still the Confederacy.
and the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, the Dan, Timon, and Buz, and all that are to the utmost corner, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, and all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Shishak shall drink after them. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thy hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, ye shall certainly drink. For lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name. And ye shall be, for lo, I begin to bring evil on the city which is called by my name. And ye shall be utterly unpunished. Ye shall not be unpunished. For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, says Yahuwah of hosts.
Okay, stop there. Let's go on to the Jeremiah 27th chapter. It's number 3. Jeremiah 27th chapter. Start this at the top.
In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yahudah, came this word unto Jeremiah from Yahuwah, saying, thus says Yahuwah to me, make thee bonds and yokes, and put them upon thy neck, and send them to the king of Edom, and to the king of Moab, and to the king of the Ammonites, and to the king of Tyrus, and to the king of Zidon by the hand of the messengers, which come to Jerusalem, and to Zedekiah, king of Yahudah.
And these nations are collectively known as
The Confederacy.
The Confederacy, man. The Father's about to do something with the Confederacy, with us, with everybody else. When these white people, I call them white people, never connect. Hey, but this is the beginning of their kingdom right here. This is the beginning of their kingdom right here. Go ahead.
And commanded them to say unto their masters, thus says Yahuwah of hosts, the Elohim of Yasharel, thus shall ye say unto your masters, I have made the earth, the man and the beast that are upon the ground, by my great power and by my outstretched arm, and I have given it unto whom it seemed meet unto me. And now I have given all these lands into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beasts of the field have I given him also to serve him.
The Genesis already said that Japheth shall dwell in the tents of Shem. This is going to be the fulfillment of all of that right here.
And all nations shall serve him.
Some of the nations.
All nations shall serve him.
Go ahead.
And his son, and his son's sons, until the very time of his man come. And then many nations and great kings shall serve themselves.
See, we were born into a system. When we were born, it didn't take us long to realize, man, white people rule the world. We just living in it, being subjected to it. We found out ourselves were slaves among the white people. We don't really know the biblical history of how this all went down. But the Bible is Black history. Nebuchadnezzar was the beginning of this system that we're living in to this very day. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that the nation and kingdom which will not serve the same Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and that will not put their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon, that nation will I punish, says Yahuwah, with the sword and with famine and with the pestilence, until I have consumed them by his hand. Therefore hearken not unto your prophets, nor to your diviners, nor your dreamers, nor to your enchanters, nor to your sorcerers, which speak unto you, saying, ye shall not serve the king of Babylon. For the prophecy a lie unto you, to remove you far from your land, that I should drive you out, and ye shall perish. But the nations that bring their neck under the yoke of the king of Babylon and serve him, those will I let remain still in their own land.
Ain't that something?
Says Yahuwah, and they shall till it and dwell therein. I spake also to Zedekiah, king of Yahuwah, according to all these words, saying, bring your necks under the yoke of the king of Babylon, and serve him and his people, and live. Why will ye die? Why will ye die, thou and thy people, by the sword, by famine, and by the pestilence of Yahuwah, has spoken against a nation that will not serve the king of Babylon? Therefore hearken not unto the words of the prophets that speak unto you, saying, ye shall not serve the king of Babylon, for they prophesy a lie unto you. For I have not sent them, saith Yahuwah, yet they prophesy a lie in my name, that I might drive you out, that ye might perish.
And that's what our problem is, man. We always want to hear something good, something that appeals to our being. But that ain't what the word of Yah is, man.
Right.
The word of Yah is about the truth. When you step outside of his will, Jack, all you need to do is just humble yourself and just face it. All right.
So the people he put in charge, you go against that. He said he's gonna punish you.
That's right. And I'm glad you said that. That's even here in this America, we have to be circumspect in how we are here, man. We can't just be here and be any kind of way. The Father wants us to accept our punishment because our forefathers messed up. They the ones that got us into this situation that we're in. Again, we were born into this system, don't know nothing about why we were slaves. Again, my question in the beginning, where was God at when you read the scriptures? He told you that this is what he was going to do to the people. But if you ain't read the book, then you don't have this understanding. All right, let's go into the book of Joel. These going to be short now, man. We done got past the hard part, and I had to skip a little bit. But the point is that, no, I ain't going to say it. I'm going to let Joel say it. The book of Joel. Even Israelites don't fully understand this part right here. Joel, 3rd chapter. Which way you going? Yeah, go back. Go back.
And no disrespect to all the leaders, you know, in this country, or in all countries, were in the diaspora, or wherever, who rose up and who might have wanted the best for us.
Yeah.
I'm not disrespecting none of them. The Martin Luthers, the Malcolms, Marcus Garvey,
Right.
none of them. They all tried to free us of the situation, but you can't free us from the punishment that we under. We under a punishment, and we have to serve the punishment.
Yeah.
And any other thing is going to fail, regardless whoever rise up from this time and after us.
Uh-huh.
The NFAC, them, that guy, they all come to naught. Black Panthers all come to naught. I ain't saying they were wrong in doing what they're doing, but if you outside of y'all's will, it's not going to prosper.
That's right.
Your enemy's still going to get the best of you.
That's it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but you know, like you say, but all things go good to the detriment, because by some of those teachings, rather through history or not, whatever, if you want to use that to make us better ourselves when that time comes, you know, you never know. So it's not like it's not fully in vain, but it's like the little things like that is what make like our older generation, we was more sit back where we kind of, you know, that they got up in here and we kind of just let them do this and do that, whatever, and we let it make us a little stronger. But these little newer generations, they looking at that like, nah, like, oh, we ain't gonna sit down and let what y'all go through, what we finna go through. You get what I'm saying? They kind of more rebellious.
I could still lead them to the edge of the sword, though.
I mean, yeah, but you are.
Well, no, see,
I understand what you said.
Right, see, but Lord, the thing is that all these little minor victories that we see from a carnal dynamic still play into the hands of those. That's the ones that rule over us.
Right.
Because not that we've done take away their rulership at the end of the day.
Right.
It only made, so again, y'all, goes back to my original thing about Branch Rickey, because we celebrate Jackie Robinson, which we should.
Right.
I'm not, and that's an example. I'm not taking away from Jackie Robinson being the first black baseball player, but we know the after effects of what Jackie Robinson did.
Right.
And right now we're still in our mindset so thankful that we're able to play in the major leagues now. But it only enriching the enemy, the head of the system, which is them. So that's why I said Branch Rickey, the people hated him, but they became richer because of him. Because they were stuck in thinking, oh, black people, they shouldn't do this, that, or other. No, Branch Rickey just figured out a brand new type of slavery.
Okay. Yeah. That's
what I did. And that was my original point.
That was my mind exactly when you was talking about that. Like that's a brand new way to enslave them, to put them under contracts that they got to fulfill. I'm giving them this money, but you got to work for me.
That's right. So while I'm talking as a white person that owned a little store, I was stupid for turning away black people that had money in their hand.
When I should have hired them to work for me, to
Branch
more money for me.
Taught me the way. He taught me the way. Now I can smile in my face when black people are bringing me the money and go home and exercise all my hate at home.
Not only bring me the money, they working for me.
All
they
of
bring
that.
More people in for
all
me. So
of that. He introduced them a new kind of slavery that they thought was over with Abraham Lincoln. And we fell right in line with it.
And they had a time when y'all know I probably into good where the black people was refusing to use the bus, but how they treated the bus, and that ended it because they realized how important that black money was.
See that?
What it was? Montgomery or something? That's what it was? Right. So that's another example, right?
Yeah.
They wisen up like, hey man, if you got a fake a smile.
Right.
We need that money from them.
Right. That's right.
They used to it now.
Right.
If we pull out of the system now, the system will collapse.
And they don't want that.
No.
So therefore, they do the next best thing.
And like you just read the chapter, you said, "We still was the captive, even in the last day." They said, "You still the captive."
That's right. That's what we read.
Because
Clearly.
as much as they'll tell us, "Hey, go back to your country," I don't think they don't really want that.
The thing is, most of us don't even see ourselves as being in captivity.
Right? Yeah, we don't see it.
It brings me back to the post I shared in the group chat that man was talking about the 501(c) or whatnot. About us in this here society of this corporation of America and how we should dwell, and we're talking about business wise and all that stuff, religious wise, and just economically living in this system. And a way for us to prosper in this system, the only way is for us to continue to keep these commandments of the Most High under subjection of this, this corporation of America.
Right.
So being that said, if we were to pull together and get that, 501(c)(3) or whatnot, and get the land and this and the third, we gotta stick to those standards of the Most High. Even though we're in this corporation, we gotta learn how to dwell in this place and prosper at the same time. If we were to have that mindset of a people to come together and live under this here.
But you also have to, at the same time, pray that the Father don't do to that as he did with
these other Tulsa and all this other yeah.
Because you got to function within the guidelines of these heathens.
That's the point. Oh, sorry, I'll get you off. That's the point now, and that's more of a question. I'm not making a statement. I'm asking a question. When it comes to the 501(c), I've heard people say you are going to be restricted in what you could say or what you could do. You know what I mean? Like, could you, right? Like speaking out or saying things like, yeah, they'd be like, we could, what we give to you, we could take away if you start saying things we don't like. Or so on and so forth. So I'm just making that point, but that's a question. I don't know.
You still have that umbrella. Like when you do get under that, you still can only say so much. You know what I mean?
Which will still put you under certain control of them.
You can't. If I'm not mistaken, you would have to use that term Jesus a lot. You do that.
I've heard those.
You gotta research and look for yourself, not to say naysay or what everybody else saying.
Think about people.
Right. I don't know. I don't know 12. That's not
that's what they use. The terms they use.
Not the Jewish community don't use that name.
They don't use Father.
They don't use the Father's name either. Though.
Yeah.
But Jewish people are under a whole different type of dispensation.
They're not under 501.
Right.
They don't do the 501.
These European lands.
They don't.
Because they hide behind Holocaust.
Right.
They say Holocaust, hey, we're going to give you everything you want. That's all you have to say, Holocaust. You can say whatever you want to say. Y'all suffered enough.
But I know what you mean, 12. Because I think it was a bunch of Jewish people who benefit from certain programs in this country. Right? I don't know if that was in a video. I can't remember. But I'm saying
it was in the video. It was talking about the Amish and the Jewish people. How
correct. But
it's like Islam and all of that. They do all up under that.
They had like 8-10 kids or whatever. And they'd be like, well, who paying for these kids? They was getting benefits from that.
They get all that.
But notice they said that it had to be religious, but not cultural. They put a distinction between the two, too. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
They said it had to be a religious organization, not cultural. They put a distinction.
That's a good point.
From the understanding of the scriptures, our religion is our culture, right? If I'm not correct. So if this is the standard that we're under, we're saying, oh, we're doing the standard of the Bible.
No, you're right.
This is I'm saying this the mindset that we have to have if we're going to take that step forward to do this.
Right.
This is our religion. This is our culture. This is our foundation. Point blank and simple.
And the last thing I want to say on that is, like, I don't know how prosperous we're supposed to be in this land. I just don't know. Did the Father send us to achieve greatness in
We
Babylon.
definitely know that
See,
is the case.
so that's the only point I'm looking
That's
at. Like,
for
I don't
sure,
know,
for sure.
but I'm not poo-pooing on the idea. I'm all for unifying, but I just don't know if that's gonna be manifest here.
Only reason why I would be agree with that whole dynamic is, and hopefully that it could get us out from under the mark of the beast. That's the only reason why.
Right.
If that was possible.
Correct. I understand what you mean.
So that's the
A little
reason
safe
why.
space from.
Yeah, I think that's.
See, and that's the reason why I like that the scientists, for whatever reason, maybe we have to investigate it, that he's putting out this thing about paying no property tax in Florida.
Right.
I'm like, man,
But
if you ain't got to pay property tax in Florida, then now you done escape the mark of the beast for the most part. Because even if you buy land, if you're paying property tax, how you gonna pay?
How you gonna pay for the tax?
Property tax.
But it's other things gonna come into that. What you just said, I thought about.
Right.
But if the payment system is only accepting beast payments,
That's it.
it's still other things that other things you have to take in consideration.
Right.
What about electricity? Some of the stuff connected.
But see, I'm saying you can go solar, because there's people doing that now. They're going solar. They got their water wells. They live without money. Off grid is without money.
Right.
The only problem was property tax.
Yep.
yeah,
That's the only problem.
living they straight, they clear and free.
So
Good
the
point.
reality of living off grid in this type of system,
Right.
that you know that you got 3.5 years.
Right.
You got 3.5 years until the end, until the kingdom comes.
Mm.
So you can't be there, then you can't be trying to go to traveling places because you're restricted. You're not gonna be able to go nowhere. Can't pay for nothing to go nowhere. So you got to really bunker down on whatever situation you got there and grow your food, store your food to last for the 3.5 years. And
A lot of faster.
huh?
A lot of missed meals.
Yeah, that's right.
But whatever it takes, though.
Whatever it takes. That's what it takes.
Let's see you growing your food, you know.
Huh?
Let's see you growing your food.
That's right. All that. So anyway, yeah. See that's something that we have to think about in these latter days. But Joel 3rd chapter, y'all. This is number 2. Number 2. Joel. Matter of fact, it might even be number 1. I don't know yet. Joel 3rd chapter. Start this from the top.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Yahudah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage, Yashael, whom they have scattered among the nations, and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have thou to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
Right. It's like talking to them. This is end time. What have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?
And to all the coasts of Palestine.
Right. So again, if you don't have no understanding, you don't know who we're talking about here. But who are we talking about here?
Confederacy.
The Confederacy. The Confederacy, which is led by Edom. But he just, for whatever reason, he just pointed out these two. Tyre, Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine. He's like, what have you to do with me, Tyre, Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Why is he picking on Tyre, Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Go ahead.
Will ye render me a recompense?
A recompense? Wait a minute. A recompense for what? Wait a minute. I'm asking. A recompense for what?
For all the stuff you stole. For
Huh?
the thing you did.
For what?
Repay me for the stuff you stole from me.
But something very specific, though.
What's me about to read? What's coming up?
Oh, for the
Speak up.
For the betrayal of my people.
Because of what y'all done did to my people. That's what I need a recompense for. Go ahead.
And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own
He's
head?
about to tell you. Go ahead.
Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Yahudah and the children of Jerusalem ye have sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove them far from their borders.
That verse is so deep.
Right.
That verse is so deep. He said, the children of Yahudah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians. We don't even have to debate who the Grecians are, the Greeks. But he's saying Greeks, but he means the Gentiles, period. He's specifying the Greeks because of how powerful Alexander was. Remember, we was in another lesson, I was showing how Babylon's kingdom only went so far here on the map. Only went so far. And then who took over from Babylon?
The Medes.
The Medes, the Medo-Persian kingdom. And that kingdom only went so far. That was the kingdom that Esther lived in with her uncle Mordecai. Right. And like you said, Haman wanted to kill all the Israelites in the kingdom. But by the king listening to his wife Esther, that caused them to be saved. Right. But that was still a certain region in the Medo-Persian Empire. Who came after the Medo-Persian Empire?
The Alexander.
That's right, the Greeks. And that's when it expanded. Because Alexander went further than any other Gentile before him in the expansion of his kingdom. So this is the reason why the Greeks, he said, this is what the Confederacy did. The Confederacy sold us, include Edom, after distinguished Edom, sold us to the Gentiles that they might remove them far from the border. Edom could not remove us far from the border. Edom did not own the ships that moved us. That the scripture is clear on that. The Confederacy could not remove us far from the border. They had to sell us to the Gentiles, the Greeks, right. Tarshish, all of them that had the ships that bought us from the Eastern Hemisphere to the Western Hemisphere. Right. That's far from the border. Far from the border. Them Gentiles removed us far from the border. Edom could none of the Confederacy do this. That's why, see, and that shows you again the doctrine, right? Ammon, Moab, Japan, and what is it? China. False doctrine. Because the Confederacy is still over there where we left them at.
I have a question. That's another question. I don't know the answer. I'm just asking a question. Is it possible that some of those African nations were Canaanites who
absolutely, clearly, yeah.
Even though they judgment came, they was never fully extinguished.
That's right.
We never did the job.
That's right.
So they gotta be there.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
That's right.
So they there.
They there. Shoot. Matter of fact, you want to even get deeper than that. If we talk about the bloodline, shoot, there's some Canaanites among Israel. Right. There's Egyptians among Israel. Right. They're all parts of the Confederacy members that was among us.
I was taken into slavery too.
Yeah, taken into slavery too. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Just another thought of mine. That's why when I see, even though the passage of time happened, what I see people cleave to is what I feel they are. Like
spiritually, absolutely.
Right. When I see people come this day and they into all type of black consciousness or Egyptology or that type of stuff, I'd be like, maybe that's just your mind. You all have a connection to that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel about it.
No.
I'm saying it's correct, but
no, on that note, though, that's the reason why we are the only people that use the term cultural appropriation. And we get mad. Somebody that don't look like us grab hold of something that we feel belong to us. And I hate that term because we are the biggest cultural appropriators in the whole world.
Yeah.
In the whole world. We appropriated their religion, right? You out here, you celebrate Christmas, Easter, and all that other stuff. That ain't from you.
And then you got some people who argue, oh, well, I don't have a black Santa Claus now.
Right.
You're like, shut up.
Right. Right.
Stop.
And because I had posted something about this just a couple of days ago, I'm going to say the biggest cultural, and I ain't going to say the biggest because Christianity is really the biggest. But next to that, the bigger the appropriation is our people that's walking around under these Greek letters, claiming to be Greek.
Oh, I saw a whole video with that. You saw the woman with the witch? You saw that video on the?
I think so. I think I did.
The black woman? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to post it on the thing, but I didn't. But I think it's going viral. But she telling some crazy stuff with the vows and stuff they have to take.
Right.
Ain't none of y'all saw that?
We say a bunch of them, because we always posting up stuff.
Right.
But then you don't do
right.
with them, because I post them.
Right.
But I don't know if y'all saw this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the black lady.
Yeah.
Talking about how cruel they are to everybody and stuff.
I try to do that a lot.
So I have some friends in associate schoolmates or whatever. And one particularly was a brother that's in Chicago. And a lot of them, they're posting against the people that denounce or whatever, and they're so they part about, well, I ain't did this and I ain't did that, whatever. And I had to tell him, even though I knew he might have been offended, which he didn't seem like he would. I thought he'd take me off his friends list. I'm like, oh, he said, what he said was, I can't wait to read about the people that are denouncing Boy Scouts of America and this, he named other groups, right? And I had to tell him, I say, he's a Q specifically, by the way. I said, well, you know, any organization that deals with altars, that deals with a pagan deity that they bow down and pledge to, then denouncing is not, it's appropriate. Because that's what they're getting mad at. They get
you on the oaths and you make it. You have to,
because they get mad at all these people that denouncing them. They make my organization look bad or whatever, and we're not. And I said, well, you can say that all you want to, but the truth of the matter is that that's what you're sold under. Or not sold them also, I say, that's why I wish the book of Maccabees, they had not took it out the Bible so that y'all will understand what the Greek is.
Right.
You know, because you're like in school days when old boys talking to Lawrence Fishburne case say, I am a Greek and I'm from Detroit. And I'm like, damn, like y'all take pride in this whole Greek thing, but y'all don't know his history about the Greeks. No.
He was the what's the name was the voice to get them out of that.
Right. Right.
But nobody really listened until they
right.
Like, man, wake up. Y'all doing all this stuff.
Yeah. But see, even he didn't know the full truth of it, though. You know, he was just saying it from a Afrocentric dynamic.
But he was like, y'all, Greek, he named like Greek letters and stuff don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
But he was like pro-black.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He was pro-black, yeah. So, but the thing is that so that's what they do because you want to be a part of it so bad. Okay. You know, they worship Minerva and Zeus and whatever pagan deity. But there's no harm in that. We just doing it because it is part of our organization. But the founders know what this was all about. They know the spiritual implications of these things that you're doing, that you think you're doing it for fun or whatever. But you ain't even studied Greek at all.
The girl in the interview on the video, that's the name she mentioned, Minerva.
Yeah, that's Delta Sigma.
Yeah, Delta, that's the video. That's what she mentioned.
Right.
She went in deep now. You need to see that interview. She did an interview with one guy.
Yeah.
I saw it on Facebook first, and then I saw it again on YouTube.
Yeah, Zeta Phi Beta, some of them, and all of them don't have Greek deities. Some of them have Egyptian deities. Like Alphas, they have an Egyptian deity.
Truth being told, the Greeks got what they got from
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
It's the same thing.
That's true. But anyway, I'm going to finish this out here. Let's pick it up at verse 6 one more time, and then we're going to finish it.
The children also of Yahudah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove them far from their border.
Far from their border. That means that the true Israelites are nowhere near their border. We're about as far from our border as we can possibly be. Huh? Go ahead.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place where ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Yahudah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for Yahudah has spoken.
And then Revelation tells us that.
Yeah.
Him that taken into captivity, I'm paraphrasing, shall go into captivity.
Where Andrea when you need it? Andrea should have been here.
Right. And what she would have said
for verse
what you say to it?
for verse 6. What did you say?
Right. I wonder what the Jewish people think. Exactly.
Right, we need to know for verse 6.
Exactly. Exactly. Go ahead.
Proclaim thee this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up for the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. David calls the mighty ones to come down, O Yahuwah. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Right, but Christianity ain't gonna tell us this. But the whole reason for Armageddon is because the Father's coming for his people. Right. That's the whole point of his coming. He ain't coming for some religious organization. He's coming for his people.
And they all took a part, and they all paid.
Huh?
They all, whether they feel they took a big part or a small part, they all took a part and bringing out his people, and they have to pay for it. If the Most High say he coming to plead with you for your people,
right?
Hey, that's what it's about.
Continue.
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great.
This is the exact same thing it said in Revelation. I think it's Revelation the 14th, I think. It says it almost word for word. Let you know what time he's talking about. Right. Go ahead.
Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahuwah is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shine.
What's that? What that represent? What are we talking about right here? Always that Cynthia that
sun and the moon?
Huh?
The sixth seal.
The sixth seal, right. That's what I'm going for. The sixth seal. That's Revelation. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Go ahead.
The Yahuwah also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heaven and the earth shall shake. But Yahuwah will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Yisrael.
His people, the children of Israel. That's what he's coming for. He's our hope. This is what he's talking about right here. Plain and simple. So again, y'all, this is a kind of a shortened version, believe it or not, of the Chronicles of the Confederate Council. And this Joel 3rd chapter, where we show was how the Confederacy transferred from the original Confederacy to when they sold us to the Greeks, forming the new Confederacy of the Europeans. And they had the same goal, to subjugate the covenant people. So that's in a nutshell why this lesson was important, to understand who this Confederacy is back then scripturally, and how we're under the Confederacy to this day from the people that sold us, that bought us rather, and removed us far from the border.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Questions, comments? You good? Hallelujah. So this again was part 3 of the series. Next week we get into the captivity, identifying scripturally who the children of Israel is according to the scripture. So again, may y'all the blessing for the reading of his word. Man, I had a horrible morning, man, but the reading of his word can turn everything all around in a whole different direction, man. Man. Whew, boy.
I think that good singing.
Huh?
Good singing helped get you back right. You were scared this morning, but that got it going on. That good singing came through. You know, let's bring out this travel. Let's start recording. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying y'all get my.
Hallelujah.
Nothing you put on your face, don't you know?
At any rate, again, man. Oh, before I go again, y'all, please, it ain't please. I thank everyone that has been able to donate to keep our doors open. And we are in a crucial time. So if possible, please, please, please give so that we can continue this work. While our doors closed, and people gonna be like, man, where they was at, whatever. Hey, I did the best that I could do. Those of us that are assistant have done the best that we can do. But definitely, you know, because we're coming into the time of the new year, Passover, which is again on April the 1st at sunset. And we hope to be here to be able to continue to work. So anyway, that said, we're going to stand up, face Jerusalem, close out in prayer.
Hallelujah. Our Father who's in the heavens, set apart is your name. Allow your kingdom to come. Your will be done as heaven on earth. Our who we ask that you give us this day our daily bread and forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into trial, but deliver us from the wicked one. For yours is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever. Elohim Abraham, Yisik, and Yaakov, we come before you right now. We ask that you would cleanse us of all iniquity and wash us of all unrighteousness, Father Yehovah. Anything that we said, anything that we've done that's not pleasing to your ears or your sight, Father Yehovah, we ask you forgive us of those things, Father Yehovah. Do not judge us according to the wickedness or the iniquity of our forefathers, but Father, forgive us of those things that they have done against you, Father Yehovah. And we ask that you will continue to keep us and lead us and guide us into all truth, Father Yehovah. We thank you for abundance. We thank you for prosperity, the things that you are blessing us with and you are going to bless us with, Father. You, as we continue to keep your laws, statutes, and commandments, Abba, you, we ask that you continue to keep us. We ask that, Father, that you will, Father, visit the ones that we hold close to our heart, Father, that you may continue to keep them, Father, safe from all hurt, harm, and danger. We thank you for the things you're doing in our lives and the things you're going to do. We ask you to do these things by your Ruach HaKodesh and keep us until we meet again. In Yahushua HaMashiach name we pray. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.